What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wav, baby. And we back. We back with a fresh week of wrestling to talk about. It's your boy, the one, the only pod breaker, Podson Reed, Jay, the lonely one. And we here to talk these graps and raps, baby. But without further ado, we're going to pass it off to the Quattro, the one, the only, my co-host, the Jericho himself. Go ahead and take it away from here.
Hello, my kitties. I am. You got the camera. You never seen Tales of the Creep? I am. Oh, I can't even do the voice anymore. He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexiest Lottery. He is hero, and I am he. And it's great to be back. We got basketball back, hockey's back, football still doing his thing, but most importantly, he just scared the shit out of me. Most importantly, wrestling has been continuously good. There's no visuals yet, but he just showed up as Joe Gacy essentially. Huckus the big boys. It's spooky season. I love it. Man.
Oh, fuck. That was great. For the listeners, I definitely scared the shit out of him. I definitely pulled out the Y6 pig mask. He's like, no, the camera goes off. Jay's camera never goes off. What the hell is going on here? Surprise.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yowie wowie, nigga. Yowie wowie.
So there's not a whole lot of news. So let's just get right into it. I'm not even going to ask you what you want to pod about because I know what I want to pod about. And let's start with the biggest news right now in my mind, and that's the goddamn ticket prices of this WrestleMania. All right, you're going to price gouge me,
broke boys, get them bags up.
Man, hey, I was close until they decided they want a rent and a half,
nigga. It was crazy, bro. It was fucking nuts.
So, for those who aren't on the internet for whatever reason, still thank you for listening to our show. I don't know how you're doing it, but thank you. The pre-sale for WrestleMania finally happened, and pretty much all the tickets were 2 nights only. And I'm telling my wife, I'm sure they'll do 1 night. I'm sure, because our plan was to go for 1 night, more than likely night 2, because we already have a room and board figured out because she has family there. But they were just doing 2 tickets, 2 combos or whatever the hell, and even the nosebleeds were in the 4 digits, which is absolutely fucking wild,
crazy, bro.
And they have the nerve to do a service fee, which was also over $20, or I saw one that was triple digits, because I'm buying. I'll print this shit out myself. I'll rebuild a Kinko's. Why do I need to give a service fee? So I'm upset because I was super trying to go, and in hindsight, I should have just went to WrestleMania 39, even though I probably would have left upset based off of what happened in night 2. But in hindsight, I should have went to that because that is a lot cheaper. Essentially, we talked about it before with their out of country shows, but granted, this is a Mania. This is their Super Bowl. We're more than likely going to see The Rock. We know John Cena is going to have one of his last matches, etc., etc., etc.
Correct.
There is zero reason to essentially you're pricing out regular people. The only people that can afford this shit are they're going to be people who are super paid. I'm not poor, but I'm not middle class either. But goddamn, I can't even. My wife saw Beyonce twice this year, and we can't get WrestleMania tickets. You know how crazy that sounds?
That's insane, bro.
Beyonce twice.
And remember, we talked about it with the take one of the live shows. We talked about it briefly. Hey, you're pricing out those people who can't really afford to go to the main shows or whatnot. Never in 1,000 years do I think that they'd be pricing out the wrestling fans, like the true wrestling fans, right? Yeah. Because now you're gonna fill up Vegas 41 with like, you know, the celebrities or the people who got the money but don't really care about wrestling, or the motherfuckers who just said fuck their mortgage, right? Yeah. Never would I have thought that like the WWE or wrestling in general would like make you choose between like, hey, rent or Roman, and you got to really choose. When I saw it, I was like, yo, this kind of nuts. Like you, I was looking like, hey, maybe if I got it, I can, you know, I knew you was going. I was like, let me just take a look at it, right? Nah, bro. Yeah. Nah. Them nosebleeds was a rack was like 1,500. Like the 2-day floor seat was like 15,000. Like who are you like? Who are you marketing this to?
The green shirt target audience, green shirt guy, which
green shirt,
no shade to him, but it's
no shade at all.
It's green shirt guy in Trinidad, man, because there ain't I can't afford that. And yeah, it was to the point where, you know, my lady, she was like, yeah, we might as well just ball out and be floor seats at a regular Raw or SmackDown when they come back, because they're like based on the.
And that's fucked up though. You shouldn't have to think like that, bro. It should be, hey, let's go to the premiere motherfucking show because we are fans. Not like, okay, we can just ball out when they come back. Like, granted, do what you can afford off top. Yeah. But we shouldn't be being priced out like this. Like, not at all, bro. That's fucking crazy. And I'll ask you this: do you think that prices will continue to rise? Is this a normal thing for them?
To me, it's hard to say, and before I fully answer the question, I would like to also state that like it's not just them. Like Ticketmaster is a huge culprit in this. I think they have one for sure. I mean, just based on the last 3-4 years, it's like tickets have been insane, and it's not just WWE. Like where it's very similar. Like again, like Beyonce, her tickets are extremely expensive and you got to get them immediately. Same with Taylor Swift. Same with Bad Bunny. Yeah, I know, but it's like it's something that's happening to live entertainment as a whole, almost. To where it's like you again. It's like, do I pay rent or do I see Bad Bunny? Do I pay rent or do I see Taylor Swift? Type of thing. And it's like you can see like think like some of the artists who canceled their tours because they can't sell arenas, and it's like. Not only can they not sell arenas, but also your tickets are fucking high. I'm not paying that much to see a Sexy Red. I'm sorry, or a Little Baby. Like you guys might be cool, but I ain't paying that much to see y'all. I'm not gonna give you Bad Bunny money. And like so, anyway, it seems like it's a live entertainment thing. But like I feel like there's so much backlash. At some point, they might have to be like, you know what, we was kind of wilding. We was feeling ourselves a lot. Let's backtrack a little bit. At least that's my hope. Because
I don't think so.
You know, like
because you know what? They're gonna sell out, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna sell out.
You can't backtrack if you're gonna sell out. That just means that next year we can let's try 20,000 instead of 15. Like they're gonna make so much fucking money off this. It's fucking crazy. It's like
I need a Cyber Monday or something.
Nigga, this is when they come out and be like, we got the biggest, largest fucking gate at WrestleMania. I'm like, yeah, no shit, nigga. Yeah. Like, no fucking shit. Ain't nobody competing with $15,000 tickets for a wrestling event. Like, no way.
Right, and it's sitting crazy. Like, and I've been to that stadium before because we went to the SummerSlam, the notorious one where Bianca lost to Becky, and like we had decent seats, and like, granted, a SummerSlam isn't exactly a WrestleMania, but we didn't pay nearly close to what they're asking right now.
No, I've seen somebody who posted. I think his name is like Tyler Suplex. I saw him on TikTok, and like he went to the 39, he went to 40 and 41. He just showed like the prices that he's paid, and it was like $300 and 39, right? It was like 400, 500 for like 40 or 41 or some shit like that, and then it just or 40, and then it just like shot the fuck up, bro. He was telling people like, hey, bro, don't do it. Like, it's not worth it. Like $940 right. I'm looking right now. 940 is the cheapest ticket right now, and that is nigga up there, like. You ever watch Life? That nigga said the upper room. Yeah, you in the upper room for show. Like, it's nuts. Yeah, man, I never thought you'd be priced out of WWE. Like, that's crazy to me.
It feels. I don't want to. I'm not trying to make a think piece about it, but it feels kind of classes. It's like
It feels intentional.
Like no, yeah, it's like at this, like you should at least told us that it was going to be like this, because then I could have started saving a long ass time ago that was the fucking case. Like I knew manias were expensive, but it's like this,
but not like that, bro.
No, yeah, and
bro,
and I think I seen the same one. I mean, I've seen I think I might have seen that same TikTok, or it might have been a tweet that I saw. But yeah, someone was doing a compare and contrast. It was like I was literally at 39, and I paid like $760. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. I could.
That's cool.
On some DT shit, I could drop $760.
I got you.
Right
I got you. Yeah.
But nah, you want $760 times 2? Nah.
Yeah. Nah, man. It's nuts. I was thoroughly surprised because I remember I was like at work when they dropped. I was looking. I was like, yo, I thought I was tripping. I thought like, nah, these got to be like floor seats, bro. Nope. No. On the flip side, if you are wrestling fans and you love wrestling, you want to go watch local shows, go watch your locals. Definitely can afford those. Talk to TK. His ticket's cheap too. Like,
you can get a 3 for
you can get the floor seat for like $60. Like, it's just nuts, man. Cause like, what do you do if you have a kid? Like, what do you like?
You leave that nigga at home.
Taking a kid to Mania. Like, you taking a kid to Mania, like, hey, yo, son, I ain't got 15 bands. Like, I'm not taking my kid to the nosebleeds.
Look, hey, this or college? What's up?
For sure. I want to know, what do you think do you think they priced out the World Series? If WrestleMania is more expensive than the World Series, I think we got a problem here.
I mean, that's it. I don't know. I don't follow baseball.
I'm gonna check that.
I know Super Bowl tickets are always super crazy too, and this
for sure.
And it's giving extreme Super Bowl. Like, granted, like WrestleMania, it's always been like the allegory or the comparison has always been, oh, this is wrestling Super Bowl, but it's like we didn't mean for y'all to take that literally with the pricing. No. Like, nah, dude, no. Like, that's fucking wild. But
yeah, they fucking they got the wrestling heads for sure. Everybody was tight.
Yeah. But let's deviate to the next thing, which if do you have more details on? Or
yeah, I got it. I'm gonna pull it up here.
All right.
So
a couple days ago, a new lawsuit, or WWE is now attached to a new lawsuit thanks to Vince and Linda, and it's a lawsuit that I want to say there was a previous lawsuit like many moons ago, I think.
Correct.
That and then something happened. I don't know if it got acquitted or
they
what.
countersued the guy because he couldn't prove what had happened.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So apparently around, like, I think it's like 92, 93, there was a situation where the ring announcer was being a pedo.
Yeah. Grooming the ring boys.
Grooming young boys. They called him the ring boys. Yeah, and it seems like that this ring announcer was going around from town to town and taking like these kids who were from bad homes and whatnot and was traveling with them. But as he was traveling with them, he was doing explicitives and, just really, really gross, fucked up shit. They have like the lawsuit and like the details of it, but I don't want to read those just because of like, this is boys and pedophilia. It feels nasty, bro. Like, I saw like some of the clips that they were talking about, and just from like little like segments here, to where like WWE had one of the tapes of the boys being touched, before wild. the FBI got to it, and so like they've had this footage for a while, and it's just gross, man. Yeah, I don't like the idea that, like, WWE is big back because where they're at right now with, like, the H and the Nick Khan, like, they're in a different, like, they're trying to move in a different era. But these ghosts are coming out, bro, and they're coming out heavy. Like, we're talking about sex trafficking. We're now talking about pedophilia. We're talking about, the tribute to the troops with Ashley Massaro. Like, there's just so many nasty fucking connotations tied to it.
And Vince,
and it was all under like Vince's watch. Like,
I mean, and it's because he owned the company as well. But yeah, like everything goes to the top, and it's not even just like, because usually you can say everything goes to the top. Like, someone gets in trouble, it kind of, I mean, it'll go to the worker, but also like at the end of the day, it kind of goes to the boss too. But this is a little different because the boss is the one that's like actually doing all the deviant shit. And if he's not doing all the deviant shit, then like he knows of it and he's just trying to cover it up and not do it right by it at all. And it's fucked up and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
I got the like a brief summary of what Brandon Thurston put out, because Brandon Thurston is huge into like the lawsuits for like WWE. Anytime there is something big lawsuit heavy with WWE, it comes through him. So when I first saw it, I was like, okay, let me wait it out. And then I saw like the New York Post had picked it up, or New York Times had picked it up, and then like they're talking about it, and it's fucking everywhere. It's like, but he says the ringside announcer Melvin Phillips groomed underage boys under the name the Ring Boys. They were exploited and sexually abused by Phillips, who targeted children from broken homes. His sexual assaults occurred not only at wrestling venues, but also in hotel rooms and other locations where Phillips would shuttle the boys in plain sight. Defendants were fully aware of the systemic and pervasive abuse, and did not prevent it to stop it. The FBI previously identified at least 10 Ring Boys abused by Phillips, but there are likely countless others who have suffered in silence for decades. So Melvin Phillips died, so you can't go after him. So they're going after like the WWE, and yeah, man, it's gross. I don't like none of it, bro.
Yeah, it sucks. And prayers to the survivors / victims and positive energy towards them as well. And again, similar to Diddy, similar to a lot of these other sex pests, crazy people, the Weinsteins, etc. Like, Vince needs to be put under the jail. And Linda, she's very close with Trump. You can put her under there too. I mean, she's tied to this particular lawsuit because around this time, because you said like this happened in like '92, so this is around the time where after the steroids thing, so she was kind of the face of the company to try to like for PR reasons. So so I'm sure she's not clean either.
No.
Yeah.
It's gross all around. To get out of that, we'll get into Monday. We found out that we did not have Samantha Irving as our announcer for WWE. And it happened right before the show. It wasn't one of those things that happened at 8 a.m. in the morning where we knew about it. It was like right before the show kicked off. They announced that Samantha Irving would not be there. And the internet had a fuss. Immediately went to Ricochet.
Yeah, I mean, and not to, what's the word I'm looking for? Not to condone it. It's a very easy internet trope to, let's blame the spouse, yada yada. Some of the jokes were funny, but then obviously, of course, it's the internet, so people are going to take it way overboard and be completely disrespectful for zero reason because it's not that deep. But to give a quick timeline to what like Loader's saying, like, yeah, it's Monday, and I want to say that news came out like at 12 our time or something. It came out at least like 3-4 hours before the show started, and it's like, What the fuck? Like, what? And the first thing in my mind that happened, which because I mean there was a lot of speculation, eventually things get cleared, but the first thing that popped in my mind was like, we don't get a 2 weeks notice, we don't get a world like a retirement tour,
Samantha.
Yeah. And then after like a bunch of fake journalism, it turns out that it's apparently she gave her notice months ago. And pretty much the whole stigma of it, or not stigma, but essentially it was, she wants to do some other stuff and she can't do it under the schedule. And it was to me, that's pretty cut and dry. And it's like, okay, you mean she's very multi-talented. This if you're tapped in or if you've seen her live, seen any of her old, footage, playing the flute or being on America's Got Talent or anything like that. And then she has a child or children, I'm not sure. and then her husband's doing other stuff, so it makes sense. Then so people automatically suspect like, oh, she's going to AEW, she's going to AEW. This bald man's trying to steal her away, blah, 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 like all this crazy shit that gets debunked immediately. Also, it gets debunked that
he comes out Ricochet. He's like, yo, she's not going over here. Like, relax, bro. Like, damn.
Yeah, he did that. I mean, he tweets a lot now, for good and for not good. But
get your shit off.
Yeah. So yeah, that got debunked. It gets debunked that it was just a spur of the moment thing because she herself says it was months. It was months in advance. Then fast forward to today because some news just came out, or you can call it news. It's the wrestling news
extension updates.
Yeah, she's replying to people like on her Instagram and whatnot. And this is the part that I wish I kind of didn't know, but apparently she never liked announcing. And the reason, and that's fine, the reason I wish I didn't necessarily know that particular part is just because she was super amazing at it, and she contributed to a lot of really cool moments, a lot of like awesome moments, like the first time she did Imperium, and she like did each member in a different accent based off of where they're at, or the Chelsea Green thing, or the Bloodline stuff. Like she's a part of a lot of moments. So I wish I didn't know that she didn't really enjoy it that much, because I don't want to say like it kills it or anything. I wouldn't say it dampers it, but it doesn't feel those moments. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. It just doesn't feel as good. It's like, oh, like fuck, you hated your job this whole time. I'm sorry. Like I wish I knew this. I would have rescued you too, like or something.
Yeah, I get it, because you're like, it's. I hate to use this analogy, but it's kind of like it's like a dolphin in SeaWorld, right? You're like we're watching, we're having a great fucking time, and you realize how terrible fucking SeaWorld is.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel bad for like the animals there. I don't want to think that that's the complete case for Samantha. I'm pretty sure she enjoyed, the Gunther, the Cody moment when after he got the belt, where she did it like twice for him. Like there were definitely moments where you can see like those weren't fake emotions. I think it's just more so of like just the grind of like, man, I gotta like do this all the time. I'm the voice, right? And it's just 24/7. I have no days off. Like it's a lot. And then also because you're so good at it, you're like, hey, I kind of want to be a manager. And they're like, nah, you're the best announcer we got. We can't let you be a manager. Like, so you get stuck in that role, right?
Which I see both sides of that part too. Because you're right. She when she was replying to people on Instagram, she was saying like, I just wanted to. I got into announcing just to get in, but I kind of wanted to be a manager or be the next GM. But I feel like it was one of those things where it's like, you way too good for all that. Like I need you right here, kind of thing.
But everybody gets into WWE because like they want to be a part of like the action, Like nobody like respectfully. I don't think anybody's like, man, when I grow, I want to be a WWE announcer. Like I want to be Seth Rollins. I want to be Roman Reigns. I want to be in the action with like the rest of the people. It's honestly kind of interesting.
I'm trying to be Charles Robinson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What? Being a ref would be kind of crazy too.
It seems fun.
But even then, the refs are part of the action, bro. The ref is like the coach. Like most refs
orchestrating everything. Former wrestlers as well too.
They're well into the action. The announcers say like the names of the people and go and sit down. And you got to do that for 4 hours, 5 hours plus every day, and then fly back home for once a day, see your kid, and get the fuck out.
Yeah. And she does a lot. And if you guys ever been to a show, like during the commercials, she does a lot of stuff too, where it's like,
she's hosting.
Let me see your DX chops. Let me see you do the Undertaker.
And doing that every day at every show, bro, like that would get repetitive. Like, I feel it. Yeah, exactly. Unless it's your thing. Unless that was what you were aiming to be. Clearly, she had higher ambitions of what she wanted to do, and she let people know that, hey, this was my idea to do it. That was also kind of interesting because like many of the men or the IWC was like, you don't got a brand, you can't think for yourself. This is Ricochet's fault. And it's like, no, it's her. Women are capable of speaking how they feel and saying, hey, I don't want to do this job no more. Her man didn't put her up to it. This is what she wants to do. I think also in here, Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like she didn't like, and she said, yeah, WWE saw no other future for me besides announcing. I love watching the action, but I don't love being an announcer, and that's perfectly fine, bro. Like,
it's perfectly fine.
Maybe she wants to be a wrestler.
Maybe. I mean,
like what?
And like, she also said, like, I don't need a job because my husband's a millionaire.
It's a flex,
which is a flex. But yeah, she's talented as hell. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we like. It seems they keep saying she ain't going to AEW, so I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to do music because she's a very great singer. She's also good at instruments. Honestly, it's cliche, but the world is kind of her oyster. So yeah, I mean, but if she just wants to stay
I
at
don't
home,
think this is the last time we'll see of her. I think we'll see her in the wrestling world at some point. Maybe right now you just need a break, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think this is the last that we see of her. And the next time we do see her, she won't be an announcer, but we'll see her in the wrestling world for sure, in some form or fashion. Maybe a Fox host. Maybe like, hey, I'm on TV, I'm talking about it. Maybe you want to be in that kind of role where you have your own show. This is the Samantha Irving Fox sports show or Fox AEW, like whatever that may look like. Maybe that's what she wants.
Yeah.
And even then, that can open doors.
Yeah,
that open doors
start
to
that
ESPN
podcast, baby. Go ahead and start a Twitch stream.
Yeah,
Come on now,
do something. People want to talk to you.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it for the news. Yeah. First off, we're priced out tickets. WWE has a history of pedophilia, which is fucked up, and Samantha Irving leaving. So, with all that out the way, let's jump into Monday Night Raw. Show kicks off normally where everybody's walking in backstage, and typically we don't ever talk about this part where we like, oh, they were walking backstage like pregame, but this one is a little bit important. This one's different because as Bronson Reed is walking down, you got a bat out of hell in the name of Seth Rollins come in and get that work, and immediately attacks this man, and they start brawling, right?
Yeah.
It was funny because like I think like Bronson Reed had posted his shoes, and it was like, this man fucked up my J's, man, like all creased up and shit. Like I was like, damn, you didn't see it coming. It's all right. Shit happens. But yeah, it follows Seth out to the ring, and pretty much he's saying if Bronson wants to be famous, he'll make his ass famous, and he's trying to fight right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they had to escort Seth out because they don't want no action happening. You know, fucking Pierce can't control the show at all, so he a little like stressed out.
No, he loves the chaos.
We jump into our first match of the night, which is AOP versus New Day for it's a qualifier or contenders match for the WWE Tag Team Champions.
Wait, I have a question real quick. Because Seth and Reed do fight. Is that still in that segment, or is that later on in the show?
Later on the show.
Gotcha.
He breaks him up, and then like he breaks him a couple times. He breaks with the fight, and then they catch Seth in the back, and that's where he announces that they are going to fight at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, because it's a table spot. Yeah, we'll get to it because I saw that. Anyway, the first match.
There was a table spot. Yeah. Tag team match between AOP, New Day. This one was pretty like cut and dry because it gets interrupted by White Six. So like as like the match is going on, Final Testament has been beefing or been having like kind of weird vignettes towards the White Six for a couple weeks now. Kof gets a folding pin on Razor, and as he's leaving, shit goes black, and that's when we get the fucking White Six appears. This is also interesting because Miz is there.
Yeah, so originally they were targeting Miz, but now Miz is attached with Final Testament, so that's how we're going to get the equal numbers for whatever tag match we'll eventually get. More than likely, the 8-man or whatever the hell. If I'm not mistaken, I think don't we see R-Truth too? Because they're like the New Day. Kofi wanted to get back into the ring because they were attacking.
Because they want to save R-Truth from Miz and Final Testament. Yeah,
and then Xavier's not letting him, and that's when the lights go black. And so in hindsight, Xavier was right. He's like, otherwise you would have been
get the fuck out of here
in the ring with some weird.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, and then fast forward just a quick behind the scene. Miz is trying to leave, and Cross is like, "Where you going?" He's like, "We gotta go," because Miz has history with the Fiend. Like he's done spooky shit before.
Yeah, I've
And
been here.
and Karrion's like, nah. You gang now. Like, we you
Ride
in this
together,
gang
die
now.
together. Bad boys for life. Yeah,
So
he's
yeah.
gonna get fucked up. Yeah, Y6 is looking impressive. They had a nice little Dexter Loomis like powerbomb spot where they powerbombed Dexter Loomis onto them. Like, I do want to see a little bit more of them, but like you said, you can't overexpose them. So I get it, and the fact that I want to see more of them means it's working. That hey, time to like roll them out because people are itching to kind of see them.
Yeah.
I do think that like this upcoming Monday we should have a lot more just because it's the Halloween weekend. It kind of fits the spooky vibes. Like, we should have something.
Yeah, they better.
Yeah, they definitely should be on the show. Yeah. And then Miz gets mandible clawed by Uncle Howdy. It wasn't his sister Abigail. He gets the claw, and then out.
And they also attacked the old man.
Yeah, they fucking attacked Paul Ellering. Yeah. Like what? leave the old man alone. What do he do? He don't do nothing.
Stay your old ass at home then if you don't want the smoke. You out here posting videos in a wizard robe and all this weird shit. Like, you think you got powers, nigga? You feel my fingers in your mouth. Pause. But yeah. Stay your old ass at home, bro. Like, what do you do? We're going. I don't want to get into a tangent, but I still need to figure out what these people do. I will say though, I am hoping, similar to what happened with the American Made feud, that we see Scarlett in the ring. A couple weeks ago, she was doing. She did do some matches on some house shows. So I've never seen her wrestle, and I know she can, or I know she has experience wrestling. I'll say that because I don't know if she's good or not. But ever since she's been in WWE, I've never seen her, and that includes NXT. At least not that I remember. But it would be. I'm assuming similar to what happened with American Made. We'll get all of them in the ring, and we can. Nikki Cross versus Scarlett or something. Hopefully, I'm open.
Yeah, because Nikki Cross can get down. She's a good fucking wrestler. So hopefully we can get something. That would be refreshing too. In the Raw's like women division, they do need more women. You know, like I think that'd be a very solid like touch. We get a quick promo from Raquel, kind of telling you why she's doing what she's doing with Liv and them, and it's basically she's getting revenge on Rhea because Rhea attacked Liv's shoulder. She also attacked Raquel while they were women's tag team champions, and that put Raquel on the shelf. So there's a little back, past heat that they have. And so she's like, yeah, shit's not over. Like, you thought you got away with it. Nah, we on your ass now. We get Damage Control versus Liv and Raquel because that promo sets up like that match to where I think Liv and Raquel had interrupted like EO and Kyrie's like promo backstage, and they're like, "Oh, you want something? Like, let's go do it." So we get that tag team match. Nothing too crazy happened in the match. There was a dope fucking missile drop kick by EO that happened. Beautiful. But this kind of gets a little hairy because EO pulls Jakara from over the barricade. Jakara and Lash are ringside. They've been ringside the past 2 weeks now at both shows.
3. I want to say this is the third week.
They 2 to 3 weeks they've been here. Yeah. They've been inside of the women's tag team like Vortex, and that kind of gets explained on SmackDown because they're there. But yeah, EO pulls the car over the barricade.
Also, another reason why Kari or EO did that is because they Damage Control in Lash and Jakari, they fight the following day at NXT. So so that was the storyline or thread for that. Yeah.
Gotcha. After the match and the chaos clears, the Judgment Day music hits, and we get Rhea just on Liv's ass. She put her in that fucking lock. What's like the submission that Rhea does? Prison trap?
Yeah, prism trap. Yeah.
Prison trap. Mean. But
and
she
gets good on. It looks good on. It Liv, does. She's tiny as hell too.
Yep. She puts a prison trap in the middle of the ring, and then she ends up kicking Raquel off, and then we get. I think Dom comes out to save Liv from being Riptide. Yeah. Um, this kind of sets up, the threat of, once again, Rhea, Liv, women's title. Like, we're probably gonna get that match again at some point. My question is, like, do we not have a woman that can challenge Liv? Do we have to continue to go through like the Liv Rhea like angle? Could we not split this off into Raquel Rhea and Liv can go over here kind of thing? Like, how?
I
What do you
think
think about that?
I think that's what they're slowly doing. Um, so that's my answer. I think they're slowly trying to do that, similar to what, because for example, with when Dom was equated to it, where it's like this feud is about Dom, it's not about the women actually feuding, and then you saw how they slowly, after the Shark Cage shit, they slowly like got Dom out of the equation. So like, even though he does still come out for Liv's matches or whatever, like it's not about the love triangle anymore. Now it's officially about Liv and Rhea. And then fast forward, now you add Raquel. So I think that's like they're slowly trying to transition to a Rhea and Raquel. If not, then we might get that third match. But then again, it's like what you would have to. I mean, I don't know what the stipulation would be because you already did a shark cage match, and
Right.
now Liv has muscle or lack thereof. Raquel is almost giving me Camille vibes, and I'm not liking it personally.
I mean,
I
she just got back, right? It's like
she,
3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe. She only been for like a month.
yeah, and she looks ineffective as a bodyguard heel. She's to me it's not exactly Camille esque, but it's very close in my opinion.
And I think that's the issue, is that because she's going against Rhea. Like, you can't out powerhouse the powerhouse. Like, we all know Rhea is the biggest and baddest woman in tied with Jade or Bianca, but you get what I'm saying. Like, she's that girl on Raw, right?
Yeah.
If this was Raquel and she was going against, Ivy Nile, it's like you can show Raquel being like super dominant, but you can't do that to Rhea. Like, that's not gonna bode well on TV if Raquel comes out there and just
Well, I mean,
bodies up Rhea
yeah.
and packs her out.
No, it should be a Haas match. Like it should be big meaty men bumping meat type of match for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they're around the same size, and Kel's whole thing is that she's strong. Like, look at her back. It's it's just there's. I don't want to say I feel like Rhea is too strong because she has gotten her ass whooped. Because the very first time I said that about the Terror Twins, then there was like 2 weeks of them getting their ass whooped, which is
True.
because like you can't make them look too strong. Like even Fatu is taking more damage than what he was a month and a half ago. I just don't think it's beneficial to Raquel, similar to how I feel about Camille in AEW. I don't think it's beneficial if they are the big bodyguard. Like they're taller than the champion that they're protecting, and they are either not being effective, as in like actually do it, like helping cheat, or being like if you just staring like mean mugging someone is your version of intimidation, like that's fine. But like if you're going to be an effective big heel, like you got a big heel bodyguard, you got to be more intimidating than just looking at people mean. You should be beating the fuck out of people, especially Raquel, because she's big. Now again, it's versus Rhea, who's also big. But assuming after this feud goes, like I need Raquel to like body some people. Like you're her bodyguard. You're like 6 foot, damn near. Well, not really, but like on camera wise, that's what it looks like compared to like her versus some of the other women. Like I need you to do stuff, like be effective, which we'll get into with Camille again later. But it's like Mercedes wins matches without Camille's help, so it's like, why do you need a bodyguard if your bodyguard doesn't help you win the match? But that's
This is true.
That's
This
a different
is
show.
the same thing we talked about before.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think like with Raquel in the situation she was brought in for, she was brought in to, I don't think necessarily protect Liv, but more so protect like Liv and Dom and like the relationship of that. Like Rhea can't bully Liv and Dom because Raquel's there to kind of like stop it. It was never like Raquel was brought in to be the enforcer to actually like protect Liv. I think it was just more so to protect the Judgment Day and like their shenanigans. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like she's not really like I don't think the intention for Raquel was to come in and just be whoop ass. Like that wasn't.
I think that's what I think they should change to that
Absolutely.
because again, like like even when she had the women's title, like even when she won the NXT title, even when she won the women's tag team with Liv, and I don't remember who her other partner was before Liv or after Liv, but was it Shotzi? Anyway, Raquel doesn't have that much charisma / personality. So this is your chance, similar to like what we saw with Bronson Reed the last 2 months. Like he got over because he killed people with 6 to 7 tsunamis and shit. We got to do something similar with Raquel, because I'm like, again, just showing off your back. That is not a character coming
it's
out.
Not.
Like I'm liking the way she's dressing, but like there's I want to say it was last week. She like came out. She's like her fit. She has a nice ass fit, but she's wearing the same sunglasses that Angelica from the Rugrats wore in this one episode, and I'm like, you look goofy. Like you have a badass fit, and you have these weird ass red sunglasses that it just like, who dressed? I don't know. It's just
you get on niggas apparel, bro. You cannot, when you see a nigga who came dressed, that shit sets you off.
You're supposed to be a star.
Bro, like, you got all this money dressed like this. Bro. Do you think that like maybe they haven't really pushed Raquel like that because like they want to see how she is, right? We don't want to like respectfully. We don't like want to know if there's any flare ups or nothing like that. We don't want to get you too invested. So we kind of want to like let you rock a little bit. We don't want to invest fully into you yet because we also want to make sure that you're 100% okay. I think that also could be an angle that they're playing too, is that you just came back. Let's not rush you out there, kind of sit around, live, see how your body reacts to it, take some bumps a little bit, and we'll just kind of have to monitor you. Because I think that's also a safe, way to look at it as well.
And that's why I thought the bodyguard role is perfect for it, because she doesn't have to have a match every week or anything like that. All she needs to do is powerbomb a bitch every once in a while, right? Using the B word respectfully, but that's it. I mean, there's still time, because, like you said, like she did just get back. I mean, it's been about a month now, but she's just
still flare-ups.
Yeah, to me, the trajectory it's coming off Camille-ish, and that's what. And I just don't like that for either woman, because it's like you're big, you're bad, you're bigger than most of your division. Therefore, you should be doing some Haas type shit. It just happens that she's completely, right now, she's like parallel against Rhea, but like if we're going to put her, if we're going to make her credible, she's going to have to beat Rhea at least once on the main roster, because she's beaten Rhea before, but that's NXT. That's that's prejudged, like all this other stuff. So
it makes sense. Like we'll talk about Camille when we get to AEW, but yeah, you are definitely on the same path here. LWO has a tag match versus American Made. This is another like qualifier for the women's or the World Tag Team Championships. They have a good match with American Made. Dragon Lee Ray ends up getting the win. So next week it kind of sets up New Day versus War Raiders versus LWO, and I'm like, that's a good fucking match, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, there's going to be some kind of like shenanigans happening, because with the New Day that it's been a thing. So maybe this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, is maybe Woods kind of explodes next week. At least that's what I'm kind of like expecting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm excited. LW on one. I thought I had mentioned here on the pod that like
that's what you chose.
Ray and Dragon Lee getting it would do a lot for the tag team division, but also War Raiders too. War Raiders look great. Yep. And we know that like the people coming back are getting really big opportunities. That's kind of a little foreshadowing for SmackDown, but let's keep the ball rolling here. We have a quick little promo with Priest, or with Carlito. Actually, not quick promo. This was another one of those heater moments for the internet too. This was where Carlito interrupts Kyrie and Io, and he says the illustrious
man,
I need to learn Chinese.
Right. So, all right, let's talk about this real quick. You go first.
Tone deaf, a little insensitive. Mm-hmm. I don't like it because it kind of like not discriminates, but it kind of like devalues who those two are. You know, they are legit fucking threats. I do understand the idea of like it being comedic and Carlito and whatnot. And there was multiple reports that came out that said he didn't do it, that he said it on his own volition, that they didn't write this and whatnot. Which I say to that, like, do we think Carlito went into business for himself on WWE, like in a promo for WWE? I don't really. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like they give you scripts, they tell you what to write or tell you what to read, so you just go out there and do it. If he did go off script and just said that shit, that's fucking nuts. But there was a lot of outcry for it. There was, and rightfully so, because there are people out there who definitely felt offended by it. There's a couple tweets from a lot of different, like, you know, pro wrestlers who are part of like the, you know, the Asian community, and they were like, yo, this is what we go through on a daily basis. I get called Shinsuke all the time because I'm just Asian, right? And that's not fucking cool. That is fucked up.
Yep.
And it doesn't bode well after, you know, H
triple,
is saying
triple K stuff, all this other shit.
Yeah, it doesn't, bro.
Yeah.
You know, the Triple H, I don't see color line like that. That's not a good little short 3 weeks, bro. That's terrible, right? So that's my little piece on it. Like I said, I thought it was tone deaf. Definitely could do better. I don't really like it, especially because Io and Kyrie are respectable women in the division.
Yeah. Okay. I also think it's tone deaf. I will say, so according to reports, Io and Kyrie didn't have a problem with it. Does that mean it's justified? Absolutely not. But apparently they didn't have a problem. Okay, so that's something that should be considered, but it doesn't mean it's justified. It doesn't make it valid whatsoever. My thing with it is, and I already said it's tone deaf, I think it's a bad line. I don't think it was funny. My position on it is that a lot of the outrage that I saw, it reminds me of what we talked about the other month when we were talking about like black male talent, PLEs or whatever. A lot of the outrage I was seeing, or at least majority of it, wasn't from the Asian community. It was like people hiding behind AVIs or people who are legitimately not Asian at all, trying to make it a thing. I mean, it is a thing, but they were trying to make it a bigger thing than the thing that it was. And that's my problem with it, because that's where you get the bad faith, just the fake activism. The line was still bad. It shouldn't have been said. It's just like because I didn't see it live. I mean, I didn't see it at all. And if you just went on Twitter and just like looked at all the reactions, you would have thought he was like dressed in a rice patty. Yeah, like he was in a rice patty hat and like pulling his eyes back, you know, or some shit. Like you would have thought it was like the most egregious racial thing you ever heard in your fucking life. And that's, again, I'm not trying to downplay it. It was still a bad line. Still should not have been said, but it's just the over exaggeration in the fake activism is what it's like. I just want to make sure like some of us don't get caught in that whirlpool of it, because it's really easy to do. It's really easy to get caught up in it. Same with the black male talent stuff that we were talking about. And it's not like people don't have valid points or justified points, but it's like we got to make sure we're not being mad just to be mad, and we're not getting baited. And it's very similar to politics, but it's like we're not being baited by people who aren't even actually a part of the community.
It's being grifted by people who don't care.
Yeah. So you just gotta be careful.
I also with that, you also don't want to like invalidate anybody's, you know, experience or what their thoughts are. You know, like because even if you are, you know, not Asian, you have an opinion on the topic doesn't mean it's gonna hurt. You know, it's just when people are doing it with bad faith, like you said. Yeah. And which is why when I was looking at like what do the Asian talent have to say about it? How do they feel about it? I know how I feel about it. They felt the same way, like, hey, it was just fucked up. You know, we are trying to be on screen too, and we are more than, you know, our ethnicity. You know, like we're bigger than that. I think we should just start listening to, you know, people's experiences. Like in the black topic that we talked about, it was coming off of what Mercedes and Swerve had said, which is why my opinion was like, hey, just listen to what they're saying. It may suck that it could come from a company that you like, but that's just their experience. Whether you agree with it or not, that's how they felt. That's their truth. Definitely tone deaf. I didn't like it. Hero doesn't like it. DT also didn't like it. So, you know, we all felt the same way.
Yeah, it was a bad joke.
For sure.
Last thing I will say is that I feel like it assuming that it was an ad lib. Honestly, it's just one of those things where he should just apologize. I don't know if it needs to be public. He should at least for sure apologize to them, whether they thought it was funny. And when I mean they, I mean Kari and Io, whether they actually care or not. Still, you just give an apology. But like trying to find, like, there was people like trying to look up Carlito's old tweets, just to like prove that he's like maybe racist or something like that. Like again, it's just
that's crazy. Bro.
It's just weird shit. But I will say insane. My last point is like I feel like this is why, whether it's like it doesn't matter what the TV show is. This is why you should have people of at least a person of every ethnicity to like, like being in the writers' room. Like if you have like
right people though,
the
right kind of people.
Yes, the
right. You can
people.
get somebody of an ethnicity, but they still find that shit funny.
Yeah,
and that's where like shit just gets. It's like, oh, we got a black guy, we got Black Jim, but Black Jim over here is cooning. Like
MAGA as hell. He's
Like you got to make sure you got the right motherfuckers in the room.
Yeah, we just need diversity and inclusivity within the writers' room, so that like, because you can make a. There are PC ways to make a quote unquote stereotypical joke, like, but it has to be like smart, like like an easy,
or
like
funny for everybody.
Yes.
Like it wasn't even funny. It was just like ew.
I gotta learn Chinese. Like what? We know they're we know they're Japanese. Like, and it's like I get that you're supposed to be a stupid character, quote unquote, but like that's like our truth wouldn't even said that, and our truth,
and that's what I'm saying.
Kayfabe wise, he's the stupidest person. Kayfabe wise,
and he would have found something funny to say about that situation that would have had nothing to do with them in Chinese or anything like that. It would have been something crazy. It'd been like they can teach me how to fucking somersault or some shit like that. They are high flyers. Like I don't know. Carlito could have came in and said, "Man, I'd love to take an elbow drop from that," and we'd be like, "Oh, okay, we get it," because she does the elbow drop. But like that was just fucking crazy. Last thing before we get out of here, do you think if he did go off, the rip and did this by himself, like I said, which I don't think he did,
I
wouldn't he have been like suspended? Do you think that like there would have been some kind of suspension or something, like some kind of consequence? Would they would have said something by now, right? If he went off script and did this and there was no like repercussion or reprimand for this, and we would know. We would have to know by now.
I mean, I feel like that's one of those things they don't necessarily need to, like, I don't know. According to like Fightful and PW Insider, like according to them, it was an ad lib, and there were certain people in the backstage who were upset. Which again, he should apologize. I feel like there are certain talent, especially veterans, they might have a little leisure to improv a smidge, to where like I don't think it's like in the old Vince days where it's like you have to read the lines word for word. Unless you're a Cena or a Roman, to where they have the permission to ad lib. I feel like and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like in H's era, like it's a little more lax, and if you're trusted, such as like a vet as Carlito, then it's like okay, maybe he might say a word, or he might have a phrase that might be a little off script. As far as the comment goes, it's still a bad comment. I don't know if it's suspension worthy, maybe fine worthy, but even then. I feel like that's one of those things to where I don't know if you should announce that on Twitter or online. It was like, oh, we're fining him for his comment. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know about that. But I do believe that it was I think he improv that personally. I don't think in this age with them trying to, because they had a lawsuit. It either was early this year or last year about like the person who was writing for it was fucking the girl who's in AEW now writing for Sasha or Mercedes. She was part of a lawsuit for like writing for black talent, and like just it coming off tone deaf and non-authentic. So it's like,
I remember that.
I feel like they're gonna try to stray from that. Which is why, to me, it comes off as an improv, especially if the rumors or if the insiders are true, and it's like Triple H or whoever was like kind of like the fuck, what was that about? Then like I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those things they should say publicly, but also I don't think that they wrote it. I don't think that's one of those things that like got past the filter. I think it was an improv. I don't know if he should be. I don't think he should be suspended. I would say at the most fined or just apologize, because I don't think he's racist and I don't think he meant any harm from
Nah.
it. But it was still, again, very tone deaf, still bad. You shouldn't have said it. Like, that's like me. That's like one of us dropping the R word right now, or just, oh, this guy, he was being the R. I'm like, there's other ways to say that.
Right.
Just say stupid.
For sure. For sure. So. Getting out of that, the whole purpose of this promo was to get Dom a title shot, because they've been talking about, or after the Rhea and Liv match, or Liv and Raquel match, they go backstage and they're like, what does Carlito even do here? And he's like, I make things happen. So he's trying to get Dom a shot at the title. This sets up another promo with Priest later on the show, my bad, let me reverse it a little bit. Pierce tells Dom, or tells Carlito, he'll have a shot against a former champion. Fast forward to later in the show, Priest goes at Gunther. Actually, the next promo is Priest rolls up on Gunther and says, hey, he has no issue with them. He handles the issue with Judgment Day, so he's back, in the title picture, and he's not looking for a handout. He'll earn it when Gunther comes back from Crown Jewel. So Priest wants to rerun the fade again with Gunther. And it looks like the way he's going to earn that is by fighting Dom. Maybe he's going to be Dom versus Priest next week to kind of like help, Priest get closer to Gunther. With that, do you want to see Gunther versus Priest again? Is that something that you would be interested in seeing?
I'm down. Priest needs something to do, and I mean, to me that's a War Games match, or Survivor Series. I could see it.
I like that. That's a good idea.
And if Finn is still super upset, which obviously, I mean, you could he was last week. So then
this week he was the same thing.
Yeah, so it could still end in a DQ or whatever. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be upset with it, because after this Gunther has no current challengers. The other option is Punk. So, and there's been rumor that it could be Punk and Gunther for War Games, which that's also dope. So whatever's clever, but keeping Priest in the title picture proves that he's earned their trust. No matter what the internet or what we say about how we feel about his title run, it was still successful to degrees. It's all subjective, I guess, but Triple H fucks with him. The higher ups fuck with him. He's still in the title picture. He just needs some shit to do. So, yeah, if it's a rematch, that's fine.
The main event of the show is Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title shot, or Intercontinental title. I don't got spots for this. I just got moments, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a moment, Matt. I mean, it was overbooked to shit, but yeah.
It's crazy. One, I love Comedic Solo. This week, Comedic Solo is on point. This motherfucker is funny as fuck, bro.
I wrote about it.
He came out. This motherfucker comes out with the I got tickets and the Yeet shirt, and I lost it, bro. And it makes you remember that he is their younger brother, so he has the humor just like them.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's popping out in like various like segments or various ways. But him showing up with the fucking Death Row red turtleneck and the fucking blazer, talking about I got tickets with Jacob Fatu behind him, popped, bro. That shit was fucking funny as fuck.
Bro, speaking of that, my lady yesterday, she showed me a TikTok, and it was like, when my wife finds out why there's $2,000 charged to the card, and it's because I bought WrestleMania tickets, and then it's the clip of him. I got tickets.
I got 2 tickets.
I was like, yeah, that's funny. And but yeah, I mean, I wrote about it in SmackDown, but we can talk about it right now. The fact that Solo is like in NXT, he showed personality. He has a personality. Like clearly he's pretty funny. This version of him that we've seen this week from both shows, that's what I would like to see from now on. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to see what we've been seeing since Mania.
It could be a combo. Give me a combo of the brooding, but also like you're aware of the shit that you're doing and making fun of them.
I mean, to me, like based off of what I saw. Based off of what we've seen this week, I don't necessarily need the brooding unless like something bad happens. Unless something bad happens, like because the way like okay, so like think about like if you do a villain scale, like if peak crazy chaotic villain is like Joker on one end, and then the other version is just like a super serious Thanos type. Like the way that the vibe that I was getting, it was kind of like Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man, to where it's like he's crazy. He's not.
Like that.
He's not Joker crazy, but he's kind of Joker crazy, but he's not like over the top Joker crazy. But he's still crazy. But he's also serious. It's still kind of intimidating. But he'll laugh. He'll shoot you, and he'll laugh. Also, another one, Nicolas Cage and Face Off. Another good one where it's like, the motherfucker is crazy.
Traumatizing film. I should have never watched that film so young. Watching Face Off as like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, bro, you look at everybody differently.
It confused me.
For sure. For sure.
Because I was at a time where I thought movies were kind of real for a little bit. I'm like, what is going on? But like, yeah, so from the villain scale, I'm like, yeah, he doesn't need to be, crazy Joker level. But the brooding / trying to do the one for one Roman Reigns it's not working for me.
Yeah, it doesn't work for him. It's not him.
No,
but this is him. I like the comedic in him making fun of people. In this match, the Bloodline comes out. Jey ends up super kicking both Tama and Tonga. All the while Solo is sitting there talking about, I'm trying to help you win. I'm trying to help you. All you gotta do is come back to the group. All you gotta do is be the one. I need you to be my one. Kind of following up from the Friday SmackDown promo. And then we get the lineup of Jacob and Braun Breaker, and it breaks out with the holy shit moments. Everybody's hyped as fuck. Yeah. You're not gonna fool me with the pump fake. I'm not jumping. All right,
it was a good face-off. It was a good face-off.
It's a good face-off. We ain't gonna see it to 2027. The writer for that the writer's still in high school right now. We ain't gonna see that for a minute. Like, I get it. I'll be excited when it happens. But like it for the potential of it, yeah, bro. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Breaker is gonna hit like crack. But you not getting me, Mr. Levesque. I see what you're doing. All right, I'm on to your games. It's interesting because in this promo, I said I wonder if Aldis is going to have choice words for Bloodline showing up on Raw, and he didn't have choice words for them. We'll talk about that on SmackDown, but he definitely set some shit up for them. Also, where's his ref at? There's a lot going on. His ref is unaware of everything that's happening here.
Yeah, it was. That didn't like. There's a moment where Fatu clearly is attacking Jey, and it's like, it's in the ref's visual. It was bad. Camera wise, it was bad. That's the shit that irritates me. That's why I give AEW shit sometimes, where it's like the ref is right there. Like, what is going on? And this is the second time in the E that this has happened recently. And it's like, the ref is right the fuck there. That's technically a DQ.
Yes.
What is going on? Just take a ref bump. Why was it make the ref take a bump?
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it was like, this ref is up there moving around, look at the ropes and shit, and like, what the fuck is going on. If there's two, there's another two somewhere.
Just tying his shoes.
Yeah. Anywho, Braun Breaker ends up winning the IC belt back. And this one was a little mixed. Yeah. People had some mixed feelings about this. So I'll start off with how I feel about it. And my thing was why? Why did we put it on him just to take it off of him? I get it. It was a prop to kind of like get the Bloodline angle popping again. You kind of need some reason for Jey to go back to the Bloodline and help out. But it was like, we could have did that without the belt. You could have did this where he challenged Braun again and the Bloodline interrupted again, right? And Braun Breaker still had his belt.
Yeah.
I get it, but it just seemed like a temporary, like,
it's a, I don't know what, it's a tease. What
do we call him? Is Jey a transitional champion?
I'm gonna say no because it went back to Braun, but I will agree. I will agree on the term prop No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it was a prop. I like that.
No, because to me, FTW is a prop. This one,
well,
even though it was a short
prop
reign
moment, it was a prop moment. This was to get people engaged, and then you just took it away. You went back to Braun, which is where it should have been anyway.
Well, the reason why I'm hesitating to say prop is because, like you said, it's like, oh, they just put it back on Braun. Why didn't they just have a DQ in the first place? And the reason why is because Jey lost so many title matches already. Like, he had to win one to make him credible, and that was the one that they chose to make him or have him win. Because he already, like, he lost to Gunther, he lost to Roman twice or 3 times, he lost to someone, like, he lost too many title matches. He had to win one to make him credible, so that's why he did win. I don't agree with a 28-day run or reign. The reason why they took it off him, like you said, like it makes that betrayal. It's going to make him obviously join the OG bloodline because he finally got to the top on his own, and then these assholes took it away from him, even though he wants no part of their business. So it makes his character want to get revenge, which obviously he kind of does, not fully, but he does. So that's why I'm hesitant to say prop, and that's why in my opinion they did what they did, because like he could only lose so many, like he couldn't continue to lose title number 1 contender matches. He couldn't. Otherwise,
so why do you have him? Why did you put him in that situation in the first place? Like,
because he's over as fuck.
I think, like,
I mean, and it's,
yeah,
and it
but
would
if
have
he's
been one of those
over as
moments.
fuck, let the nigga just be over as fuck.
Right, but it would have been one of those moments where, like, what are we going to do with him? Like, he should have, like, the whole reason why he's a solo star is so that he eventually can get solo gold, and he's been solo for 7 months now or longer, whatever the hell, and it's like he keeps losing the big matches. At that point, you're going to turn him into a Bryan Danielson. There's a drunk dude out here. He's okay. God damn, I gotta close my window. I don't know what is going on. Like, this dude, he's in a button up, walking, and, bruh, this shit is wild. And he keeps looking at me because the window's open.
This nigga starts singing to you, bro, drunk as hell.
He's
like an 80s movie.
I think he is singing. while he's talking, bruh. It
is singing. Oh fuck! Okay, hold on. We'll get through this real quick. Fuck, that's funny as fuck though. So Jey ends up losing. We all know that, like, it's Bloodline sign up to shit for the Bloodline and whatnot. Just give me somebody who's not Jey Uso for Braun Breaker's next, like, challenger. Give me somebody else who deserves to be in the mid card, and let Jey just go and do shit, with the Bloodline for right now. Also, Bloodline Vortex is a thing. We talked about it earlier, or later in past episodes, about the Jericho Vortex and Bloodline Vortex. These shits are getting real similar. All right,
yeah,
they're being pulled in. They're being pulled in for no reason. People are being affected for no fucking reason.
Oh well, I'll say it's Jericho is definitely a vortex. I would say the Bloodline right now is a verse. It's a universe to where you're in, but you can go out. Cody was in, now he's back out.
You were unwillingly pulled in, though. It's a verse that will snatch your ass up when they want to and spit you back out.
It's like WandaVision. Like, all of a sudden you just living in the 1960s or some shit, but you'll get out. You'll get out.
Somehow.
Jericho, though, you think Jericho? He's one of those people who's like, you do, like, you're a guest on an episode. Steve Urkel is a perfect. Steve Urkel was supposed to be just a guest, just a random appearance, and he became the star.
The whole show.
You have a match with Jericho and it turns to be 3 months. So where did my life go?
Yeah, that's fucking funny. Jey Uso might be Agatha. He might be the Agatha of the Bloodline verse. Yeah. Okay. It's like, you are being pulled. You thought you had a good life without them. You was a cop and a detective. No spoilers to people. My bad if you ain't seen it yet. But it's just first episode. You'd be cool.
Yeah, it was first episode.
And then you just got pulled out. And you're like, fuck, I'm back here. This is my life. Speaking of Jericho, we're going to get into AEW in a bit. We're going to take a quick little break, and then we will be back, and we will talk about AEW Dynamite.
Dynamite. Right.
right, people, it's time to talk about AEW Dynamite. This week kicks off with a very interesting opener with all the baby faces outside waiting for the BCC to come back or to come to the arena so they can all scrap. I'm gonna get this out the way first. I hated this shit.
They
I
look like a
disliked
bunch
it.
of fucking dorks, bro.
It was not a good way to do it. There is a part that I do like that happens later in the show, but the idea of them just standing there, and they stand there all goddamn night. You see the sun up to sundown, it's dark outside. They still stand there waiting for these people to come. And I'll talk about that when that happens as well. But like, yeah, don't do this.
It was bad. I understand the goal of it. Like, I understand what they're trying
protect
to
our home.
Right, but again, and we talked about it. I'm gonna go into it again. But it's like everyone that was out there, and you
don't care about.
No one cares about. They're as much as respectfully as possible. They're a bunch of fucking losers. They're a bunch of dorks out there. None of those people out there have any accolades in the 5 years of this company. You got a bunch of goddamn dorks out there just sitting there trying to mean mug, and it's like, what the hell? Like, and what makes it worse is that they still look stupid at the end of the show because BCC is OP as hell, and it don't matter if you got 20. It don't matter if it's 20v1. I'm gonna slap everyone that right with you. Like, it's like it doesn't matter. Like, it's so, I don't know. It's very odd because they're trying to do this. They're trying to do NWO-ish type stuff, but it's like, instead of NWO versus Sting and Macho Man, it's NWO versus I don't know. I can't even think of someone disrespectful enough. It's just, I don't know. It's just man.
They are definitely infantry right now, trying to go at the big battalion. You can't really do that. You don't have a leader yet, and that also could be the story that they're trying to tell here. Because inside that group of the people that we said respectfully were nobody that we cared about, Orange Cassidy was there. And he has a good little promo later in the show with Chuck Taylor that I really do like.
Wait, was he one of the ones outside, though?
Yeah, he was outside. He was outside when they first were there.
So that was the biggest star out there, because Daniel Garcia wasn't out there, right?
No, Garcia and Private Party were there, and then they got pulled later because they were doing their match. They had a match that same night. So that's the only part I didn't like about it. We get a Hangman and Jay White promo that opens the show. Hangman comes out talking about he almost knocked off Juice, and he took out Austin Gunn. He ends up getting attacked by Colton Gunn during this promo, and it sets up Switchblade to come out for the save. Jay tells him that he can't hide his leg from him after Wrestle Dream. We saw that his leg was buckled, and if it wasn't for Christian Cage saving him, he'd have a perfect 5-0 against him. And so basically, we're going to get Jay White versus Hangman again. I would assume that it's probably going to be at Full Gear. And I'm they had a great fucking match.
Yeah, Jay White put a promo tonight on Collision. My thing is, though, Jay White already won, so what's the point? But I mean,
you really got to run it back.
Yeah, but the person who won is the one who's calling him out for the rematch, and it's like, what is the point? Like, you already beat him. Like, if I already beat somebody, and it's it's not for number one contendership, it's not for any titles or anything. It was literally, it's not even a grudge match. It's more like you beat up my man, so I'm gonna beat you up, and he won. So why do you want the smoking?
That's true. It should have been Hangman coming out and say like, "Oh, you beat me off a fluke or whatever." But it looks like Jay just want to inflict pain on Hangman. Like, you can't just take out my group, my team, and like one match is enough, in his opinion, or the way it looks like it's being booked. But maybe with the promo from Collision, that also probably ties in a little bit of like the details for it. I remember, I think I texted the group chat.
I listened to some of it. I don't know. I need to see all of it, but I'm sorry to
I texted the group chat like early the week, and I was like, "Yo, like the week for wrestling is actually Saturday through Monday or Saturday through Friday." Because like we lose a lot of like information from Collision, and I told y'all I'm gonna be watching a lot of Collision, and I did this week. But like, I gotta watch more Collision to see how all these stories pair up, because there are some threads that are being tied, and they are tied on Collision. I just hate the fact that it's a wrestling show on Saturday, but it is what it is. First match of the night is Shelton versus Sammy. Another solid performance from Shelton Benjamin. way more aggressive than he was last week, or maybe in the same vein. He had a fucking pop up against Sammy, or a launcher against Sammy that kind of reminded me of Tekken. You know, you kick somebody in the fucking air, you follow up. It's like the combo looks something like that.
Wait, you talk about the callback that him and Shawn Michaels did?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he opens the show, he launches his motherfucking air, and then later in the show, he does the Shawn Michaels callback, which I thought was a great fucking callback. I thought that it's a moment that we all are familiar with. So when it happened, you're like, oh shit, he's the one inflicting the fucking kick now.
Yeah.
Kind of like, the vet learning from his mistakes kind of thing.
Right.
My takeaway is that I love the aggression that we're getting from Shelton. I just hope this power scales Bobby. If Shelton's going around tossing motherfuckers like this and he is this enforcer, he's this fucking strong, Bobby needs to look fucking crazy. He needs to go out and fuck Swerve up. If that's where you're going with it, like, Bobby needs to look insane if Shelton Benjamin is coming out being Suplex City.
Yeah.
I mean, technically he is because he went to school with Brock, but
and he could actually stretch Brock out. Pause. But yeah, man, I am conflicted as usual because I feel like this match was too long. Again, you're like trying to make Shelton like how essentially what you said. Like, if Shelton is doing this, then what the hell is Bobby going to do? And I feel like if you're trying to make Shelton credible and you're trying to be like, oh, see, this is because to me, like, a part of it, anytime someone from WWE goes over there, it's like, this is what you're missing out. This is what you missed out on. And it's like he's going 50-50 with the Sammy and a Leo, who again is like fucking 5'2". And I'm not saying like, oh, it should just be instant squash matches. It should just be yada yada yada. But like 15, like I think the match with him and Leo was like 20 minutes or close to it, and this match was long too. And it's like, this is built up so that he's going to fight Swerve next week. I'm assuming Swerve is going to win. So then you fed, and like, if we're going to talk about age, because people like to talk about age every once in a while, depending on who's wrestling, like, Shelton is an old guy, with all respect. So should we be feeding him the young, even though I can't stand Sammy as a person or as a wrestler, but should we still be feeding like these young guys to the older vets that you're bringing in? Because it's, again, making you more WCW-ish. That might bring animosity to certain people. Because Sammy, last time I checked, he's supposed to be one of the 4 pillars. And he's been in ROH Shadow Realm, except for the match with Ricochet and this match. So it's just, I'm going to let it play out. But based off history with TK and stuff, I'm questioning it highly, and I'm already very critical of it. The match was good. I'm not going to say the match was bad. The match was good. I just think it's unnecessary. I
think you do have some points, because like we are talking about like the vets that do come in. Because when we talked about, in particular, the first one that comes to my mind is Cope versus Malachi. It was like, okay, Cope is putting Malachi over, right? That's how I thought it was going to play out, and it did not play out like that. Even when he broke his fucking leg in the match, he didn't put Malachi over. No. And so you do kind of see like, oh, we're just taking these stars and like, they're getting the one up on the young guys. But also in the same vein, when you flip it, you'll see that in matches where like they are the older guys who do put the young guys over. So Christian Cage is a good example of that. Dustin Rhodes puts people over. Joe puts people over. Like, you do have the same, on the same coin, the older dudes helping out the younger talent. Which Sheldon, it's too early to say. I don't really know yet. As far as like look what WWE mistreated or whatever they want to fucking say, like, it's more so like I see it as like, hey, this is what he was capable of doing. I don't think that WWE fumbled the bag. Shelton Benjamin is Shelton Benjamin. He was a legend in WWE. He just wasn't used to the best of his ability on the back half of his career. And I think that's his prerogative right now, is that he wants to show people that he can still go. Similar to like the AJ Styles, the Randy Ortons, like, these are people, the Jerichos, if you will. I don't put Jericho in that category, but you get what I'm saying. Older guys who can still be useful is where Shelton's trying to be at.
So, real quick, I have a question, not to get into a crazy tangent. Because Shelton Benjamin just had an interview, and it's like he's never been a world champion or something like that. Do you put the AEW championship on him at some point, or do you just give him the ROH championship? or do you not give him any world titles? Like, do you like? Yes, he can still go. He can talk. MVP's with him, but also again, Bobby's still coming, and who knows who else is going to be in this faction at some point?
Right, because they've been shopping for a faction member this entire time.
Yeah, they've been shopping, and no one's taking it, which is wild. And Mercedes is not taking it. Ricochet isn't taking it. It's like, bro, you need somebody to talk for you, but whatever. Anyway, like, especially if Bobby's coming. Like, do you? Because to me, the reason why I'm asking this is that because again, like the way that shit pans out anytime again, like someone goes from one side to the other, it's like they weren't handled correctly, they weren't booked correctly, yada. Like same with Claudio. It's like Claudio's a world championship person, all this other stuff.
He is. Claudio's fucking great though.
He is, but
I get it.
But he's doing the same exact shit he was doing in the E.
But Claudio is not WWE champion worthy, and that's just based off of like the image that WWE is going for.
But do you
it has
think
nothing
he's
to do with his ability?
Right, I know that, but I'm just saying, like position wise, he's doing the exact same thing. Like he hasn't had a world title match in this company. I'm not saying he's coasting. He's having fun. He's having matches. He's tag team champion like twice.
He's being used, right?
Yeah, he's being used. It's just like the projection is like, oh, this person should be this, like, because obviously fans are fans. Like, obviously, if you're a favorite of someone or you like someone, you want them to be a champion at some point. And the projection with some people like Malachi, like Amiro, like Claudio, like that's just three off the top that I can think of. It was like, oh, this person, they should have been WWE champion. Vince is drunk. Vince treats people all like wrong, yada yada. But with Claudio and Miro, they went to the other side and they are technically still mid card acts. So my question
I can answer your question.
Okay.
So first part with Sheldon. I see Sheldon as like continental, right? To where if you're doing like those 1v1s and like no interference where you can really get your shit off, Sheldon definitely could be a Continental Classic champion. And it's funny because that's actually coming up next month. And then on the opposite of that, I also see Sheldon as like an IWGP, right? Where if he gets like one of the New Japan titles. I see that. I don't see Sheldon as an AEW champion as of right now, but I definitely see him as one of those like the Continental IWGP where he can wrestle people in Japan and still be like that guy. You know, he's not the face of the company, but he's definitely a vet who can really get shit down. As far as like, you know, the fumble aspect of where people are like, oh, well, you know, you don't have a title, or the Claudio not having a world title. I think you kind of have to weigh it out to where it's like usage versus title. I think in WWE, titles mean a lot because that's what they throw at you, right? We care about, you know, who's the WWE champion. We care about who's the Intercontinental or the United States champion or the Women's Tag Team champion. Belts are very important in WWE. And I think it's a tale of both sides. Like, do you want to be a champion or do you want to be used? And I think in AEW, you get used and you get used a lot, but you won't have a belt. And I think a lot of wrestlers would like to be used instead of being in catering. A lot of the people that do come over, I'll say at least rough estimate, not accurate at all, but let's say 40% of the people that AEW got from WWE weren't being used properly, right? Those ones that like are on the shelf are the ones that are usually in catering. They just want to be used. Shelton wants to be used. Bobby was sitting in the back, wants to be used. No, not on the back, but he was at me.
He wants to be injured. Yeah, he wants to be. I think Bobby's different compared to like some of the other guys that jump.
For sure,
Bobby's a little.
But like Ricochet wanted to be used. Ricochet wanted to be used in multiple different segments and whatnot. That was his whole thing, is that he wanted different stories. So usage is way more important for the talent going to AEW than actual titles. To where WWE's like, I want to be this. Cody went over to WWE because he wanted to be the face of WWE. He wanted to be WWE champion. That was important to him. So it just depends on what what aligns with like your beliefs.
Yeah, no, and I feel that because I feel like when we talked about Gable, I feel like I said something similar. Is like before the WrestleMania, it was like, oh, Gable should win, and then like he resigns and like he still hasn't had a singles title. But again, like maybe his goal wasn't to be, even though his character on TV says he wants to be a singles champion, but like maybe him as a human being was like. I mean, I think it was one of the interviews. It might have been with Chris Van, or it might have been someone else. It was like, I want to be used in a certain way. Like I want to be,
and that's what he said. Yeah,
and an important character, like not just the shush guy. Or
the title's cool. I just want to be used properly. Yeah. I think Gunther said it too. Gunther was on the verge of, before Vince took over, he was like, he didn't know if he wanted to like stay or not. And then Triple H took over, and he's like, oh, this is the perfect place for me because I'm being used to the best of my ability.
Right.
Oh, usage. usage and whatever your values are. We get the infamous Kyle Fletcher promo that happened this week. Kyle Fletcher and his wife.
I don't know if infamous is the correct word.
I was infamous, but it got eyes. People were they watched the clips for sure. Kyle is basically saying that why he turned to Ospreay is because he's tired of the comparisons. He's tired of everybody thinking that, him and Ospreay are the same person, that they look alike, he wants to be completely different from Will Ospreay. He says it was an insult that he was being compared to him. He's talking about how everybody that Kyle or Ospreay ends up working with, he ends up turning on, and he's like he wasn't going to get got because he sees how the plan worked before. He got Ospreay before he can get him, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that he said Ospreay never wanted him to surpass him because that's the kind of guy Will is. He's selfish. And he's going to put Ospreay in the hospital with another Tiger driver and then another one after that. He then takes out these clippers and shaves his head on live TV. Now, this is funny, pause, because I just saw a clip where Van Fleet was talking to Karrion Kross. And he was talking to Karrion Kross. He was like, man, when's the bald head coming back? And Karrion Kross was like, well, depending on the story, if it feels like it's warranted, I have no problem shaving my head. Right now, I just don't think there's anything that would require me to shave my head. Not against it, but it's just it has to mean something when you do it.
Yeah. For the record, I think it looks better with long hair, but continue. So.
I think, yeah. Ooh.
That's just me. I like Karrion with longer hair.
Karrion with the bald head was menacing, bro. He was a crash out. He looked a lot more angry. I didn't like the fact that when he came to the main roster, Vince made him put a mask on. That was kind of fucking weird.
Yeah,
but Karrion Kross bald head was running shit in NXT. But you are right. Long hair makes him a little bit more of the trickster element. You really don't know what the fuck. Why are you the way you are?
And it's a badass look. Even if you think about anime, or
with the leather jacket, yeah.
In scenes where people's where it's like you're fighting and it's raining and your hair's kind of cover your face a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's But look, I was happy for this because honestly, I was literally man, I haven't seen a bald white guy in wrestling in so long. I really need another one, especially in this particular company. So I was overly zealous that Fletcher with I'm gonna say it's a mediocre promo if you base it off of the live crowd reactions.
It's Utah though.
Yeah, facts. Don't let me get to that.
I wasn't really expecting too much.
I have a lot of shade for that state, but based off of what you just said, the reason why I don't connect with it is because of what you just said to me. Because Fletcher's promo, it's I don't want to I'm tired of being compared to you, all this other stuff. Since I've been watching and since he's been a part of this company, I've never seen or heard any comparisons. I don't think your guys' hair looks alike. It's really, and maybe this is part of the story. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but maybe it's part of the story. But it's super ironic that you're doing all this stuff, but you still taking his moves. You're threatening to take him out with his own move. You're betraying him but you're saying oh, all he does is betray people. Well, what did you just do? So maybe that's them trying to be ironic, but until that plays out, as of right now on the surface level, it's come off a little he didn't need to shave his hair. Honestly, he looked better with his hair. If anything, he looked like Machine Gun Kelly. His move style is similar to Ospreay's because he does some of the same moves, but I have never seen the internet wrestling community say that they're alike. I've seen Ricochet and Ospreay comparisons way more than Fletcher and Ospreay.
Fletcher, yeah.
And then also when Will first finally came here, his first 3 matches was against his own team. He's already beaten Fletcher. So The difference now is that Callis might give him a fucking screwdriver, but Will is going to beat him regardless. I don't know.
And it's funny because I will give them this, right? This entire episode, they are definitely trying to tell stories. There's something here. You are right in the sense that, like, yeah, we already seen you fight Fletcher. The difference is there was no story attached. Now they're trying to do a story attached to Fletcher versus Ospreay, which I'm okay with. About the shaved head part is that, like, now he looks like Don Callis. He did like the weatherman, or he was like the news reporter. He had the sunglasses on. He's bald. People was like, man, he looks like Don Callis now. And I'm like, damn, he does kind of look like Don Callis. And maybe that's what he's going for. Maybe he's trying to be the image of the guy who he really likes, which is Don Callis. All in all, the feud hasn't done anything yet. I do think that when they do wrestle eventually, it will be a great match because they are very familiar with each other's wrestling styles. That's going to be a chemistry match.
The match will be fine. Like,
we'll be fine.
Yeah, the match is going to be fine, good. Meltzer will probably give it 6 stars. It's not the match quality that's the problem. Especially with AEW, it's never necessarily the match quality.
The match, yeah.
Unless you're talking about like the Swerve and Hangman match, the last one, like unless it's like super cringy, it's like AEW's problem has never been the match quality, quote unquote. It's always like making shit make sense, and at the moment, this doesn't. I mean, it makes some sense, not a whole lot.
I'm not going
to say it doesn't make any. It's just like I don't know. I think like. I don't even want to say it's. I don't know. To me, it's a little over the top. I liked his hair. Like if I was going to be on some bi shit, if I was to be like, oh, you look like a 7, now you're like a 4, bro. Like we don't need another bald white guy. Like we have a faction. The champion is a bald white guy who has another bald white guy in his team.
Sure.
And you're managed by a bald white guy.
Also true. To kind of like it kind of gives you there's like similar vibes of what they're trying to pull from the Mariah Tony kind of like angle.
Yeah.
And there's some similarities that I see what they're trying to do.
Some parallels.
Especially with like the parallels of like, oh, I want to be better than you, like you were just holding me back, that kind of thing. And we'll just see how it plays out. Like I said, they're doing better with the storytelling. It's not fucking grade A top tier, but it's better than what it was before. So we'll see. Yeah. This is where we get the promo I liked was the Chuck Taylor promo where Chuck says, oh, hey, you know, Danny and Private Party got to get ready for their match. Orange Cassidy tries to leave. Chuck pulls him to the side and was like, you know, we used to live together back before AEW came along. And he doesn't know if anybody else can handle Moxley, but he knows Orange can. He says, if he only steps up. This answers the question of which one of the baby faces was going to be the one to step up. We haven't seen Darby since the attack on Daniel. And so it looks like Orange Cassidy is going to be the one to take the first crack at Mox, which I would then assume he will fail. And that's going to sets up Darby. So I do like this, though. This is small similarity of like maybe how we lifted Sammy into the main title picture. Maybe this is what they want to do with Orange Cassidy, because Orange Cassidy has been in the mid card for fucking forever, but he has a huge draw, huge fucking connection with the crowd. They love him. His story kind of fell apart after Trent kind of got injured. That wasn't supposed to happen. We didn't get to see that feud happen because Trent got injured, and now your boy who's retired because of Trent is telling you, hey, we need you to fucking step up. So I liked it. I think this was a really good emotional tie-in. There's a story there previously from earlier in the year, and I'm good with that. Briscoe versus Chris Jericho in the ladder war, which is basically a ladder match for the ROH title. Very entertaining match, very fun match to watch. There's plenty of spots in this. Just definitely go watch it. But we know what we want to talk about.
This nigga's lying.
Jericho ends up winning
this man, last time I checked, actually, no, that's a bad joke. But Loner's lying to y'all. Fun. The fuck is fun about this?
You didn't like. Whoa.
It was
ladder spots enough. Entertaining. My bad. Entertaining. We'll say entertaining.
There was entertaining segments, and that's because both guys can work, and both people are well versed in wrestling. Yes, but this is
entertaining.
This was the wrong person won.
You think so?
Yeah, it left a lot of people upset, me included. So here's okay. So
go ahead.
All
you
right.
say you lead this one. I
Okay.
have my response, but I want to hear what you say.
So, so AEW did this experiment before, and it was the first time Jericho won the ROH title, the world title, and they're trying to get a show for ROH. They're trying to get they're trying to put it on something else other than the app or whatever.
A network, but they're looking for a network.
They're trying to sell it, and the first time they tried to sell it, that's when they put it on Jericho, because Jericho, whatever opinion you have about him, there was a point in time where he was very sellable, which is why he was the first AEW champion, which was the right choice at the time. So it was very telling that that's what they were kind of trying to do, at least from my eyes and some other eyes that I've seen write things. So, because like the fear was like he was going to win at Wrestle Dream, and then when he lost, it was like, cool, we're not doing this experiment again because we know where this goes. Jericho does not need another title. He has he has heat, quote unquote, but most of that heat is go away heat. Now, for the uneducated, go away heat is when the fans boo you and hate you, and it's not because you're a good heel. It's not because you're like an MJF or a Miz and you're like talking shit about the crowd. It's like, no, we literally do not want to see you. We want you to go away because you're annoying and you suck. That's what go away heat is. He's had go away heat since before technically the Learning Tree. The Learning Tree has had good segments, like Hi Guys has gotten over. There's a couple things I've gotten over, but people still don't like Jericho that much right now. So putting the title on him to do this experiment again is just, it's almost like it's like TK, like you admitted that you don't care about the internet's opinion and whatnot, and honestly, you shouldn't. You should be in the middle, similar to Triple H, where it's like you should care a little bit, not too much to like change your whole show, change your whole plans, and scrap your whole book, but you should care a little bit. This was a bad choice. Like, Mark Briscoe has the potential to be their LA Knight, similar to a Kingston, Eddie Kingston, where it's like Mark Briscoe. He is a good worker. He is good on the mic. He has a sympathetic story that you can play on because of the passing of his brother, which they've done in this story,
which they've done, yeah.
But you can do that different. Like, you can do it in a way to where it's not like your opponent always doing a shoot on you, where it's like, oh, you're not as good as your dead brother. Like, you could do it to where it's like, I'm fighting not just for me, I'm fighting for my brother. Like, he could easily be the biggest mid-card babyface on that roster, other than like maybe an Orange. Like, he could be bigger than Orange Cassidy because he actually can fucking talk. And then you have him grouped with him and Kyle and a bunch of other people because TK doesn't know. Like, the conglomerate is literally a group that TK likes, but it's a group of people that TK likes, but he just doesn't know what to do with at this moment. So he just has them.
Yeah, I don't like the conglomerate.
It doesn't make any sense. But it's people that that he likes and that he knows.
People who can work,
and people like all these people can work. He just doesn't know what to do with them at this moment. So they're just in a group.
Correct.
And I'm not going to say fumble, but it's like you're doing this experiment again when you have Mark Briscoe could be their LA Knight. That's how I see him. That's how I see the trajectory. But you're doing this shit, and it's Jericho gets help to win, obviously, because it's a ladder match. So there's
carries him up the ladder.
There's no DQ, and it's just I don't know, man. It's just it's not smart to me. It seems because again, like, fuck this match for a second. Let's just talk about the overall story that's going on in this whole company. You got the BCC, the new the NWO, very white nationalist giving, but they're beating the fuck out of everybody. They're all the biggest faces in this company. Osprey, a Swerve. I don't know who I'm missing right now, but they're all tied in other storylines. So that's why we have all these geeks outside in the parking lot trying to look intimidating, but they don't, because all your biggest baby faces are doing other shit. So it makes
correct.
So it's like who are the real enemies? Who are the real rivals of this BCC? Like, if BCC is the Sinister Six, or the fucking like Legion of Doom or some shit, then who is the actual Justice League? Because it's none of these dorks in the fucking parking lot. It seems like it's supposed to be Darby, it's supposed to be Cassidy, but fucking Cassidy barely.
Danny, Private Party.
Yeah, Danny. But the last 2 years, Danny was air humping on some Fandango shit. So it's like he's not credible right now. And if you think about also Danny, like he came back, he re-signed, and MJF still sunned his ass. He lost the match against MJF at the pay-per-view. He finally re-signs and comes back. MJF still beats his ass to where that's when Cole comes out. So Daniel Garcia, he's never got his his up and comings. He's never got his like lick back technically. So Daniel Garcia still kind of looks like a dork because he's never got his revenge. Like he's, like,
which is why Danny's with them. I think that's the point of why Danny's there. Is Danny's like, yo, I'm tired of being that guy. I need to be put up on this level.
Then shouldn't he go back to MJF? Like, why did Cole take his spot? He lost the pay-per-view
because you're not ready. It's the same reason why Mox took Darby's title. You're not ready, and that's the whole premise of the story. Is that these are the motherfuckers who are like, you are not ready to be in this spot. Y'all are getting sunned by everybody. You gonna sit here and be at the kiddie table until you prove to me that you're able to be at the big boys table. That's why it's people you don't care about. It's like, who are y'all? It's the reason why the Bucks are beefing with Private Party. They're like, bro, we don't give you no rematch. Like, y'all are not ready for us.
And that's another thing.
It's the reason why.
I'm sorry. That's the other thing. It's seeming like the Bucks are going to turn face. It's seeming like the Elite are going to turn face, which if that happens, half of that makes no sense.
It doesn't. I hope they don't. We talked about it last week. I hope they don't turn face. It would really convolute a lot of shit. And then that's actually kind of funny because the next promo, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Convoluted shit.
It's looking like the Bucks are going to turn face. Maybe not Jack Perry because Jack Perry still looks like an asshole.
Yeah. Jack like he about to join Mox. Like, I think
he is. And I think that's why they
slide over there.
I think that's why like Mox was like, I don't care what anyone says, you're a cute kid or some shit. I think Jack is going to side with Mox. But then it's like the part that doesn't make sense about it, if this happens, which it's looking like it's going to happen, if this happens, right? 4 months ago, the Young Bucks gave Tony Khan the TK driver.
TK. Yep.
with no technical like retribution or repercussions, like
April.
Yeah,
that was a minute ago.
Yeah, all TK did was bring Darby back with a flamethrower, but there was no technical like I got my revenge or whatever.
Yeah. That story got wasn't that
it just
that
dropped.
was the Team AEW story. That was the
first
Team AEW.
The first team. And this is the third one. By the way, like
this is true.
You said that this started in April. This is the third one since April. Yeah. So TK doesn't get any retribution technically. He is the boss. Since that moment, Elite have been taking over the shows. Like they told Taz he couldn't be on commentator. They did all this other stuff. They gave Mercedes yada yada. So, like, what is going to justify them turning face all of a sudden? Just because, like, I mean, again, like they are the CEOs, or not CEOs. They are the EVPs, and maybe they don't want their company taken, and especially the way that Mox is doing it by killing people and all this other shit. But if they just turn face in a couple weeks, it needs to be for a legit reason. And at this moment, it's not. But they're teasing it super heavily.
And I don't know what a legit reason is for the Bucks. Also, with that, it's like you guys are still tied to Okada. It's like, what does the Okada do? Like I said, I can see Jack going over. That makes sense. The only way I see the Bucks turning babyface is that they have a match next week with Private Party, right? It's career or team breakup versus Party or versus the Young Bucks. If the Bucks lose, I expect the Bucks to like go away, right? Like, let's say 6 weeks, right? Let's say a month where there's no Bucks. Then they're going to come back as baby faces. That I see it, but it also doesn't make any sense based off of all the bad shit y'all done did, right? Like I said, when Kenny comes back, y'all got to fuck with Kenny. Like, and Kenny's not coming back as a heel. Like, I don't think that's a case. And also, we don't know a timetable on Kenny. Let's keep that a buck, too. I keep saying January, but it might not be January. It might be, like, fucking March in, like, Revolution, when they have Revolution.
Yeah, we have no timetable for him. And then literally last week, like, what was it, Perry, he, like, dumps pig hearts on his cake and says,
Yeah.
I don't care if he dies.
He dies.
Or
Yeah.
some shit.
So
like
I don't.
It's like
there's a lot of heel shit happening.
And also Bucks fired Kenny, so like even if he comes, like they would have to do some Roman shit, which Roman still hasn't there were spoilers from because SmackDown was taped, so there were spoilers. So if you guys can try to avoid the spoilers, but like we talked about it, like it's going to like they can't just do this in 2 weeks, like and they've been slowly playing it out. As far as AEW goes, like there's no timeline. Because the timeline that we were like for WWE was like, oh, War Games. They got to try to figure this shit out by War Games, and we were talking about that in like early September. There is no timeline for AEW, so they could play it out, but it has to make sense. And at this moment, there's a lot of parts that aren't making a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and like I said before, like the stories have been getting better. They have been trying to tie threads and shit like that, but this is just one I don't think that they should go fucking babyface. To go back to the Jericho point, I didn't get to.
Yeah, my bad.
Send my 2 pieces.
No, you did not. My bad.
It brings me back to like the Eddie conversation talked about with the title. Briscoe can't really. He doesn't know how to. When Briscoe was champion, it was very meh championship. I always talked about like the run didn't feel good to me. He needs to find somebody to fight and whatnot. There was nobody that he was going to make into a star, right? And Briscoe also didn't need the belt to be carried over into being a star. Briscoe was already great. Like you said, he connects with the fans. He's a phenomenal fucking wrestler. His promos are fucking funny. He talks like he didn't really need the belt to be who he was, right? Aside from like the ROH trying to be sold thing, if that's what's happening, I guess, but I don't know. Until I get news on that, that's null and void to me right now at this moment. Jericho is a heel, right? We hate seeing this motherfucker on TV. We talk about him all the time. He's just not really effective in the form of like building a fucking baby face, but he gets a baby face on TV, right? We just need to establish a baby face and successfully do it with Jericho, and it hasn't really happened yet. So I don't know if Jericho was the right person to put it on, but I do know that I think it's better than having it on Briscoe because, once again, heel, babyface segments that you can put on TV. Jericho's a talker. He's going to do the learning tree with the ROH belt. Like, it makes it of some kind of importance or some kind of relevance. Once again, this does shit for ROH because you're supposed to go to ROH and do these things in ROH.
Like, literally what you just said that second ago is why I think it didn't work for Briscoe. Like, I feel like because he has the world title for ROH, but it's a show that a lot of people don't watch. And a lot of storylines are not being set up on the shows, correct, on the main shows. Like, so hypothetically, right. I feel like what you said about Briscoe would have been different if he would have had, instead of the ROH, maybe the TNT or the Intercontinental or whatever the hell. Or would have, I feel like it's the fact that it's the ROH, like the ROH, it makes, to me, the ROH is almost like the speed title, where it's like, it's something, and even if you do see it on Dynamite, granted, like you never see the speed title on Raw or SmackDown, like you might see this. You're going to see the ROH title on a Dynamite, but you can tell that it doesn't mean as much as like all the other shit.
It depends on who holds it. So like when Joe was ROH like champion, like it meant something because Joe's a credible fucking wrestler, right? So I paid attention to Joe having. I paid attention to when Cesaro had it. It just depends on who's holding the belt. And that's what I dislike about the ROH Championship, because it's supposed to be what's similar to like the actual like NXT Championship. So it's like the young guy or whoever is like the up and comer. Like Kyle Fletcher would be a great person to hold on to the ROH like world champion. Like that would make sense to me. But it's just not that. And I don't know who the hell is like behind the next or the contendership for the ROH Championship, because they're not tied to the main roster. Continuity is the issue with the ROH shit.
Yeah,
that's a big thing, and that's a big AEW thing too. Is continuity. So Jericho brings the eyes. I don't know if he brings the continuity, but he brings the eyes, and he brings the heel, and he brings the story. That's all they need for right now, and they'll figure out the rest as it goes. Because I think that's kind of like their method with like shit like this. Getting out of that. Speaking of continuity, we get the Undisputed Kingdom promo. This was, Roderick Strong or Adam Cole comes out. He's about to call out MJF, but Undisputed Kingdom comes out, and Roderick Strong approaches Adam Cole. and says, you know,
Adam.
how he talks. Yeah, he talks about how MJF used Adam to get to the fans. He talks about how a bunch of Adam's recovery went, and says he wants Max. He says he wants Max first. So it looks like Roddy wants to go after MJF because of, you know, what he did to Adam Cole, but this also seems like it should have happened prior to Adam Cole coming back. But also at the same time, MJF was filming 2 movies at the time, and then he came back for a little bit. I get it. Doesn't make any sense there. Also, like, just the whole, like, yeah, he was using the fans against you, and he's the bad guy now. Like, I get it. It's a scrap. It's a what do they call it? It's like a no huddle promo.
It's a retcon.
Scramble.
They are
there you go. That's what I'm looking for.
Change history because again,
everything, bro.
All the devil shit happened this year.
Yeah, they are definitely retconning all of that. This ends up turning into MJF throws out a promo where he says the winner of 3 matches, whoever gets 3 matches for 3 wins first between Adam or Roddy gets to fight him at Full Gear. Until then, he's not showing up on Dynamite until Full Gear. So good luck, boys. Y'all get your 3 matches.
And very also, if we're going to talk about distasteful, because he does a thing where like, you guys might not get a happy ending, but I will.
Yeah. Very Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Very Deshaun Watson.
Yes, it was very Deshaun. You should. I'm a Pats fan. I'll throw rubber crap in that bitch. Yeah.
I don't know if that was like that PC fair. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to offend nobody.
No, we're allies. We protect women here. Fuck Deshaun Watson.
Like, yeah,
we ain't gotta we ain't gotta praise his injury.
Happy thing, you get it consensually, all right?
Please get it
consensually. Not at a fucking business. Do that shit at your home. Yeah, so the best of 3 or first of 3 out of Roddy and Adam Cole is going to happen. The first one's already set up, which I think happens Wednesday, where it's going to be Buddy Matthews versus Adam Cole, because Buddy Matthews ends up calling out Adam Cole after his match.
Barred him up, actually.
Called that man fragile.
Yeah.
Said, hey.
Facts.
I called you out because
you're fragile, my nigga.
I want to see if you got it. You fragile, my nigga. Like,
last time we saw you, all you did was jump off of a little ramp. You've been going ever since. You had to get a new bone in you. Pause.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah. I have a problem with this a little bit because, again, it doesn't make much sense. Because Cole came back when Cole's promo, is it last week's promo or the week before that? He said he's dropping the dead weight, which means he's dropping Undisputed Kingdom.
Undisputed Kingdom.
But like they're all buddy, and then of course MJF.
He said he wanted to do it without them. I love you guys, but I want to do it without you. And they were like, no, we love you, and we're going to do it together.
Right, but they were heels, and now they're going to be faces. That doesn't make sense. And then also, again, MJF giving another gauntlet type thing where it's like playing Mortal Kombat or something. Like you got to go up the tower. It's like, bro, like you are not the movie Raid. Like
that nigga, he might be that nigga though.
I mean, well, clearly he is because he's been doing he's been doing this the whole AEW run. Like even with Cody, like Cody had to do the 10 lashes thing. He had to blah blah blah. Like when he had his feud with Chris Jericho, Jericho had to have like 10 matches with all sorts of different. Like it's like, bro, like
that was actually a really cool series. I like that. I enjoyed that a lot.
It was an okay series. There was like 3 matches. Where it was like, what the fuck is going on? But anyway, I don't know. It's just. To me, that is played out with MJF, where it's like every time I gotta fight you, I gotta go through a gauntlet. Like the only time it's never happened was, I want to say, as far as heel MJF goes, I want to say it's with Ospreay, because Ospreay didn't have to go to no gauntlet. But I don't know. To me, that's a little played out. So now we're gonna do
MJF on the Roman schedule, bro. He wrestling when he wants to wrestle. Like,
well, he's on the Roman schedule right now because he's on the Cena's. I'm gonna say he's on the Raw schedule or Cena's schedule because now he's making movies. He ain't just taking a break to take a break.
No, that nigga's busy. He's out there getting the bag. Which side note, I am interested to see him in Happy Gilmore because he definitely looks like he could be like Adam Sandler's cousin. That's gonna be funny.
Oh, because he's Jewish. Wow. How classful.
How could you accuse me of that? So yeah, I think what's happening in real time is that the conglomeration is breaking up. Orange is about to go this way with the Mox shit. We just saw Briscoe lose. Undisputed Kingdom just turned babyface. Kyle's a babyface.
Maybe.
I think you're gonna get the full Undisputed like era / Kingdom team up.
The second team up since they all joined AEW. Because yeah, you're right. After like during this whole thing, you see Kyle watching it, and when Kyle finally came back, he's like, "I'm trying to do this on his own." Blah blah blah. Like he fought Roderick, I think, or maybe he just said nah. But it's like, I don't know.
He said no to Roderick. He's not gonna say no to Adam Cole.
I feel like
that's what happened. He goes to Roderick, and Roderick's like, "Hey man, welcome back. We want you to join." He's like, "I see you guys, but I'm gonna do it on my own," kind of thing. He's not gonna say no to Adam Cole. People have been wanting to see this for years, and I think what Tony's learning is that shit is better late than never, right? Because Adam Cole was out for a minute. And you couldn't fulfill this group.
But they already did the Undisputed Era thing. Because even Bobby Fish was like they're like when
was there for a little bit, like
all four of them linked up already.
Yeah,
and then I remember that, and they broke up, and now they're gonna do it again for the vibes, for the nostalgia vibes.
You know, everything in AEW is nostalgia.
I mean, everything in wrestling. No, wrestling is nostalgia. I'll give them the little credit. I'll give AEW a little credit. Wrestling is nostalgia.
What I mean by that is that, like, when I was watching Collision this week, the AR Fox match with Ricochet, we were like, well, why is he wrestling AR Fox? And it was like, oh, they've been enemies for 10 years. They have an 8-8 like win against each other. Like, it's like deep core, like it's like underground rap shit. Like, that's what he's doing. It's nostalgia. There's like meaning to it that we don't know about because of like indies and shit like that. Like, they track the deep history shit. So that's what I mean by AEW does everything based off of nostalgia. Like, same way with like the fucking Bryan and fucking Nigel match. That was pure nostalgia and wrestling history. Everything AEW does, what Tony does, links to like wrestling history of some sort.
Right. And then
does it work all the time? No. But
it works if you're educated. And it works
exactly.
But it's like when you like, yo, give us a video package, just teach us. Then the diehards will be like, Google is free. And it's like, dude, I shouldn't have to Google who this random Japanese wrestler is and what his connection is to fucking Jay White or whatever the fuck. I shouldn't have, like, if you're trying to, like, obviously they're not trying to bring in new fans. I feel like at this point it's very clear that AEW is
not true.
They're not. I don't.
They dropped the video packages lately.
Oh, they have been. Well, yeah, you're right. No, this last week or so, they have been doing better with the video packages, but it's still very much like oh, you don't know this person? Google them. And it's like, well, fuck, dude, just give me a video pack. Just let me know what the fuck is going on.
They've dropped the video packages. They've been dropping like the dates of where they're going a lot earlier. They've gotten back to dropping the matches a week before. Like, it's getting back to what they should be doing. It is good. Those are very good signs.
What I don't like is people like making it seem like, oh, finally they're doing it. Like, because I saw Sean Ross up and like, it's really good that they're telling us what house shows or whatever live shows are doing. It's like, yeah, it's a very typical thing. Like, that's not a. We shouldn't give them a cookie for doing the basics. No, we should be happy that they're doing it, but it's like Correct. They should already like. Because the first thing I thought of was like the Raw before they came to Portland. When we were watching Raw that night, there was like 3 commercials like Raw's going to be in Portland next week, or it was like right. they advertise it, and it's like AEW should be doing that. They will get more people,
and they do. I remember watching Raw. Prior to the Collision coming in Portland, and they were running the Collision commercials during the Raw shit on YouTube TV. So like,
I saw that too. I know, and I saw it too. It's just they're just not as consistent as they should be.
No,
but I did see that.
Once again, that could be budget, that could be money. Like, y'all got the bag now. Maybe I'm really interested in seeing what the Q1 looks like for AEW. Like, we know that you can't spend new money until the new quarter starts. That's how that business world works in some aspects. But I'm really, really interested in seeing.
Yeah.
To get back to the show real quick, we're gonna breeze through this.
I mean, we're still on the last match, right? We're still on Jericho.
Yeah, we got like 3. I got 3 small spots. Yeah. We talked about Buddy Murphy going to Adam Cole. There was the Aminata Camille match, which should have happened before the Mercedes Aminata match, and we already talked about that. But this also sets up Chris Statlander versus Camille, which ties into Collision, because on the last week's Collision, Statlander called out Camille, and it's supposed to be like the meat madness for women. It's two big women going after each other. I think the promo was like, who's going to be the strongest in this? So that's their angle. Kip Sabian is with the patriarchy because Hook has a promo where he goes to the ring and he's like, the person who attacked my dad is in the ring right now and he's charging that fucking Christian. The thing is, the patriarch is confused, like, wait, we don't know who the fuck attacked your dad. And so Christian's looking a little confused at Hook, like, what the fuck is going on? He gets saved by Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian low blows Hook. You get
which makes no sense.
Move.
It
does in the sense of, like, I think what they're going for is that Kip is going to end up joining the patriarchy because he wants an in. I also think it makes sense because they're trying to find somebody to add to the group since Killswitch is out right now because of him being sick. I think the process of the story got like expedited a little bit due to that. But it also doesn't. Christian says in the promo, "I know what you did. I know why you did it. You get over there in the corner." And he tells Hook, "It's not what it seems to be." So Christian's going to have some promo where he's going to elaborate what the hell is going on. That could happen tonight. It could happen Wednesday. We'll see. But there's definitely answers that has to happen or that we need from Christian Cage.
Well, the thing that doesn't make any sense to me is the Kip Sabian thing, because like he prevented Cage from cashing in his contract.
Yeah.
Like, he's been the thorn on the
side. And he says
that
in that night. He said, "I know why you took the pin from me. I know why you did this." Like, so we're just waiting for him to kind of like say it now. Like, I don't know. It is interesting. Why is it that somebody who wants to be a part of your group would stop you from cashing in? I don't know.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
And I wouldn't want a nigga on that. Like, if DT was openly trying to stop us from recording every week, I would not want him on our show.
But if that nigga knew, hey, you shouldn't do that today. Do it tomorrow. I don't know, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Hopefully, that we'll elaborate on what's going on here. Main event was the Elite versus Private Party and Danny G in a trios match. Private Party ends up getting the win in this match. But post match, Private Party calls the Bucks out and says they got their number. We proved that we can beat you guys. They ask for the rematch. The Bucks says no, and then Private Party says, "You know what? Well, how about this?" Or at least Isaiah says, "How about this? Next week, or how about you give us a title match, and if you guys win, Private Party breaks up." Quinn looks at him like, "Yo, we did not agree to this," but Isaiah's all for it. This also makes sense because last week's promo, when he approached Stokely, and Stokely said, one of you guys should go solo, and Isaiah says, if that's what it takes, and that leads into this week where it's going to be team versus title, and if they lose, Private Party breaks up. I don't think Private Party is losing next week, but it's AEW and anything can fucking happen. The heel's been winning forever as of right now. They then get blindsided by BCC. This is where I'm like, y'all still outside in the dark waiting for him? Because Marina Shafir pulls up in the truck. She honks her horn and just hops out, and they look fucking stupid as shit. And I'm like, y'all know BCC attacks people in the ring. At this point, y'all should have transitioned into the ring to protect Danny G and Private Party from the BCC. Instead, y'all outside looking like a bunch of fucking idiots waiting and got bamboozled. It makes no sense to me. Anywho, BCC jumps them. We then get a scene of Mox pulling Chuck Taylor down the goddamn ramp, throws him to the ring. Yuta ends up putting the chair around his ankle to do more damage to his already damaged or career-ending ankle injury.
Mm-hmm.
Claudio says fuck no and puts it around his neck. They stomp on his neck. That's the show. Orange Cassidy's in the ring looking at his friend defeated. And the closing shot is of Orange Cassidy. So I would assume Orange Cassidy will be going after Mox, like I said before. Right. Overall, stories that they're trying to tell, or the stories that they're trying to tell, are okay. It wasn't a great episode of Dynamite. I did enjoy some parts of it, but it is a lot of story being fleshed out that they're trying to do.
I think it's one of the, I'm not trying to exaggerate, no hyperbole. I think it's probably in the top 5 worst episodes that I've seen in this 5 years. I do, like, I gave them credit last week with the video production with Moxley and whatnot, and I I think they are trying. I'm not saying they're not trying, but there are certain moments where, again, like Jericho winning, or it's like I feel like Tony Khan's just. I feel like it's a middle finger to the fans. Like I feel like there's certain moments where it's like you don't really care, bruh. It gives me it's giving me Vince energy, especially with like I don't know. It's giving me Vince energy. That's not to say the whole show's like everything is bad. It's not, and they are trying. I would be lying if I'm saying they're not trying. I feel like they've been trying in the last couple months now. But like, yeah, there was one women's match on the show. There's always one women's match on the show, and it's like SmackDown could fit 2 to 3. It's just I don't know. It's just a lot of random shit. But the show overall it was fine to me. The show overall was fine.
Yeah, it was okay. I do like what Danny G said. I think Danny G was also talking to Van Vliet, and he was like, people were upset at like the ending with Daniel and whatnot, and then he somehow says that like he kind of compares the AEW landscape to like Gotham because all the villains have the titles and whatnot. And I like that analogy, like a loosely analogy of like it's just a whole bunch of bad guys in the city. Who's going to be the one to fucking stop them? And that's kind of what we're waiting on is who's going to be the proverbial hero, and it's fucking Darby. But like we're going to see how that all operates.
Yeah, I do.
I like that idea. It makes sense.
I like the idea also, but at the same time, the part that doesn't make any sense is that like again, Daniel Garcia, like he re-signed, but the last 2 years he's been the dude who's just been humping air. So it's kind of hard to take him serious at this moment. Like more stuff, he needs to do more stuff for us as fans, as a credible babyface. It's going to take a little more for us to take him seriously. Orange Cassidy, like granted, like there was a point in time where he was the workhorse. Like he had the most. I want to say the last 2 years he's had the most amount of matches. Like his first title run with the international whatever it's called, like that shit was fucking legendary. His second one was a little more lackluster compared to the first one, but he was still like he can work in the ring, but he right. Still needs to work on his character. Like in 5 years, he's cut maybe 3 promos, like so it's like he still needs to work like for us to believe him. Like
we need to care.
Like it's like yeah. I get that like like Chuck is hurt, so like you care about that and like, but it's like we know you're not gonna beat like Mox is not gonna lose on his fucking first defense, dude. So like we know that,
or the third. Like it's gonna take a minute. It's gonna take the right motherfucker to like take him out.
Yeah. So it's
and I just don't know who that is at this point.
I feel like it has to be Darby, but if it's not, then it has to be Ospreay.
But how long? Like, do we do Revolution in March? Like and I think a 6-month build is solid, right? To build Darby, because Darby's not right. He just doesn't give it to me as of right now. But the thing about their story is that they're telling this story right now. Darby's not going to be out for fucking 6 months. It's not going to happen.
No, but it also depends on if he's still climbing that mountain. Because like I said a couple weeks ago, it's like if he still plans on climbing Mount Everest, I'm not going to put shit on him, dude. Because you could easily die. Then what? Then I have to have another tournament for this title. I'm good.
You're talking about you're talking about if Darby wins and he goes to climb Mount Everest as a champion. You're like, no, don't do that. He would have to do it now.
I'm saying if he still plans on climbing this mountain at all, I'm not putting a single fucking thing on you.
He probably already did it. To be honest, he's probably on the mountain right now as we speak.
We're talking about one of the most deadliest mountains.
We was just in fucking Tacoma like 4 weeks ago. Like it's possible.
That was last week. Was it? Wrestle Dream was last week.
No. Maybe 2 weeks ago. Either way,
maybe 2 weeks.
He could have done it. I don't know.
It takes a lot to climb Mount Everest, bro. Like you need oxygen tanks, you need Sherpas to take you up. All this like the fatality rate on that mountain is very high, which is why I'm saying like if you're going to climb it, I'm not going to like if I'm the business owner, I'm not going to put it on you if you're going to climb it. If you still plan on climbing, if you say nah, never mind, God's intervention happened, like because I broke my foot and then all of a sudden I got hit by a bus, fuck it. Then I'll put the title on him because
damn.
But no,
yeah, they said 340 people have died climbing Mount Everest. This makes the mountain with the most deaths, although it does not have the highest death rate. Most deaths on the mountain, not the highest death rate, which is fucking interesting. That's trying to
semantics.
For what?
All right,
Anywho,
we got to bust
let's do SmackDown.
All right. So, show starts off with typical shit. Like you see the people walking in the back. Randy walks in the back, but his music starts to play. But before he walks to the ramp, you see him talk to Triple H and Gorilla. Because last time we saw Randy, when he was talking to Aldis was like, yo, it's not up to me, it's up to the higher ups. So if you were paying attention, then you know we're going to get this confrontation. So you see Randy talk to Triple H and the Gorilla for a second. Randy comes out. He calls out Triple H. Triple H comes out, and the whole time is like, why aren't you giving me this match? You're just protecting KO. Just admit you're protecting KO. And H is like, I'm not protecting KO. He's like, just admit it. And then Triple H, and this is where we get into the little soap opera part, where it's like, Triple H, I'm not doing this to protect KO. I'm doing this to protect you. And he explains why. And the way he explains it, and this is this promo and the one that we talk about later with Cody and Gunther, like this was Shakespearean level type shit. Like the way Triple H explains why he said, like why he's doing what he's doing, it puts over KO. And it puts over Randy also. Like it's putting over both talents. Where it's like, I am doing this to protect you, and it's because you're one of the only people KO has ever trusted, and he doesn't trust anyone. Like he came in here as a prize fighter. He's betrayed everyone for reasons, etc. But the fact that he actually trusted you and Cody, and he feels like he's actually been the one betrayed, makes him one of the most dangerous characters ever. Even though you're the legend killer, KO is still different. Type of thing. And Randy retorts, and Randy gives a great rebuttal, and it's like, bro, like, I didn't ask for Paul Levesque to come out here. I wanted Triple H to come out here.
Bar.
I wanted
the same motherfucker who chased me with the sledgehammer
and broke down my house, and then threw me through a window and beat my ass. That's the motherfucker I asked to come out here. Because what would you do if you were in my shoes? There was a point where, so Triple H is like, after all that, Triple H is like, all right, I hope you know what you're asking for. And then one of the last things he says, and this is word for word, he's like, I hope you keep that thing on you. That's not word for word, I'm lying. But he was like, you need to protect yourself at all times, essentially. So it was the birds and the bees talk. Like, hey, son, you need that protection.
All the time. And I was thinking, is this the first time that KO's been betrayed? Like he's not the betrayer, he's the one who's been betrayed. Is that the angle that they're going with? I think that's the story they're trying to tell here. And I was like, that is a good fucking story to where like, how would he react to being betrayed? Which is also callbacks because they're like, oh, don't trust him because he turns on everybody. You turn on Sammy, you turn on everybody I turned on deserved it except for Cody. The New Day. Like that was a callback, right? So I was like, damn, the storytelling that they've been trying to tell here is that what happens when you get turned on, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing him in a whole different emotion. Like now he really can't. What are you gonna do with your heart's broken? You trusted people, and now you're about to go fucking go crazy. Like I do like where this potentially could go.
And again, similar to like Drew, well, fuck it, I'll just say Drew, to where it's like, sure, he might be the quote unquote heel, but he's kind of a sympathetic villain because if that's the case, because you understand where he's coming from at this point. To like based off of what Triple H, like the way again, like this promo, like it builds Triple H or builds KO and Randy in such a good way to where it's like, dog, like he's betrayed everyone. The fact that he trusted you and now he feels betrayed, he feels like he's the one that got turned on. That makes him even more dangerous because he was already dangerous. We're talking about a guy on his his second episode of NXT, powerbombed his best friend on the apron after he won the title to take the title after him the next match. Like we're talking about a dangerous as an individual. Like Randy, I know you, I raised you, but this also at the same time, this nigga's a little different. And you older now.
He's crazy. And to even make it even more sympathetic, it's like we're turning on KO after he's pissed off about Cody teaming with the Bloodline,
who's been beating KO's ass for 4 years.
We're mad at him for being mad at Cody for teaming up with dudes who whipped my ass. 1000% sympathetic with KO.
Roman
like,
ran him over
Randy's
with a golf
fighting
cart.
me. You fighting me? You should be fighting Cody.
Exactly.
We over fighting his battles. He turning on us. Like, yeah, 1000% sympathetic. I do like that. It's a very solid angle when you break it down and you talk it through. Like, I'm okay with this.
It was Shakespearean. After that, we get Game 7. We get
bullshit.
Yeah, but the writing was on the wall, though. We talked about it. We knew it was going to be a 3-way in this.
But these niggas gave us an extra week. We were both right. I just want you to know that we were on the fucking money, right? Because I was like, oh, what if Game 7 is a triple threat match? You're like, I could see it, right? But then they gave us Game 7 the regular way with him as a special guest referee, which you were right. And just for us to wait a week later, and they were like, no, we're going to do this at fucking Crown Jewel. Like, we were on the money with this shit, bro. Like, and I feel bad because, like, Game 1, 2, 3, 4, like, we're getting solid fucking matches. We couldn't even get the end all be all for Andrade and Carmelo, right? Like, that's what pissed me off is that, like, shenanigans. Special guest LA Knight comes through and BFTs and we sets up the match for the pay-per-view. Like, I get it. It the writing was on the wall. We knew it, but like this was garbage, bro. This was trash.
Yeah, I feel it, but I feel like it's one of those moments where they kind of booked themselves in a corner to where it's like we knew it was going to be a triple threat at some point. Absolutely. We knew that, and it's Game 7, and you don't want Andrade to look weak, and you don't want Melo to look weak. So how do you do that? It has to end in the DQ to some degree, and so how do we do that? Let's make LA Knight the referee. One of them hits him. We know LA Knight, even as a face, LA Knight is still kind of unhinged. Like, he'll still like say, even as a face, he'll still say some heel ass shit. Because LA Knight. He's not a crash out, but LA Knight is constantly on one. We can say that, right?
Chaotic neutral. He's a chaotic neutral.
Yeah, if this is D&D, he's absolutely facts. All you nerds out there, you understood that. He is a chaotic neutral. So yeah, it's one of those moments where they kind of booked themselves in the corner, and this was, I mean, I'm sure if we thought about it, if we had a think tank, I'm sure we might have thought about a better route to make this 3-way, but like after a Game 7, you don't want either person to look weak. That way they both look technically strong for this 3-way. That way it's like it gives credibility to where either one of them could win. This on a surface value, on the face level, this was the better option, at least on a quick thought. Again, if we had a think tank, maybe we could have figured out a better way, but I mean, again, we kind of talked about it. We didn't say it was going to happen exactly like this, but we kind of said it was going to happen like this. Yeah,
this. We was on point.
Yeah,
we was on point.
But the match was good, and again, it's one of those moments where I talked about it before of like Kevin and Sammy, where it's like these two guys, Andrade and Melo, they're wrestling soulmates. Like they had in what was it, 2.5 months, they have had 7 matches, and each match was different, and each match was still entertaining, and each match still like had you on your feet, and like it was like the false finishes, like they're soulmates. Like I can see them wrestle like 50 more times based off of already seeing these 7 matches, because each match is going to be like the if I'm not mistaken, the match started with the back elbow, didn't it? Like it started like just
yeah.
It was a good match. Again, the ending could have been better because I mean, you hate roll-ups, I hate DQs, and I hate countouts. But I feel like this was on paper at the moment. This was the most neutral way to make it make sense.
It was the only way to make it make sense and still milk it for the pay-per-view. Yeah. Like you still had a bottom line you wanted to hit, and in order to make that, you had to like make this match for the crown jewel. Which also, just a side tangent, like this makes sense. Like you wasn't gonna give Saudi 6 matches. They're not having that shit.
No, they have 6 matches.
I thought it was more than 6 matches.
Oh,
I thought Crown Jewel has. I thought typically the pay per view was 5 matches, right? It was a typical 5, and like you're not giving them the 5. They have to have more because they are like one of the premier WWE shows. Like I expect at least one more match.
They're WrestleMania light. And that's only and it's literally because of how much the Prince, like, I think they got $50 million for the show.
Yeah,
and that's like, so if you're wrestling,
giving them a show,
if you're wrestling, you're getting paid, and that's like, again, like, that's why every Saudi pay-per-view they're trying to, whether it's having a gimmick, whether it was like the King and Queen of the Ring, whether it's this championship shit, or whether it was like the Rumble shit, like they're trying to make this show feel important. They're trying to make it a part of the Big Four. Isn't like this is if Money in the Bank is part of the Big Four on like some little brother shit, then this is also on some little brother shit
for sure.
But they're trying to make it seem big.
What we got next?
So next, I mean, there was a backstage thing, but it just goes into the next match. Which the next match was Candice versus Naomi, and it was a solid match. I have no real spots to bring out. Indy eventually interferes, but then that's when Bayley comes out, and Naomi wins because Naomi is essentially, she's like, they're still playing on it, but she's essentially the number one contender because she already pinned Nia Jax. But Nia is obviously still focusing on Liv Morgan. So it's safe to assume that Survivor Series will get Nia and Naomi, if not on SmackDown, before or after. But
and this Candice is in this match because Nia saw what Candice did last week and kind of like brought her into her corner, kind of what I was talking about last week as well. Yeah. And it's like looking like Tiffy may end up being the babyface on the way the build may look, where Candice is being the new henchman and Tiffy's going to feel some type of way about Candice taking her spot, kind of thing.
Candice and Indy, because that's a package deal. That's a package deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Nia was impressed last week. After
Sasha Banks reference in Brooklyn. They're in Brooklyn. They talked about that. That was kind of cool.
That was a crazy name drop.
Because Bayley was Sasha Banks, Brooklyn. It's a huge thing in WWE.
Absolutely.
To some people, the greatest women's match of all time. That's what
its top 3 is yet to.
I haven't watched it. I need to go watch it. But like I've heard this match was fucking gas. So
it's top 3 greatest women's match of all time, for sure.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see that. Like, they're mentioning things. We're mentioning New Japan. Like there's some name drops.
They mentioned. I mean, once Triple H fully took the reins, because they mentioned Sting's retirement. They mentioned Mox. They've admit, like, there's Jericho was in one of the Intercontinental video packages. Like they've been they've been mentioning people.
I like that. Like it's okay. Y'all can go over there. We know where you started from. We have history with you. It's okay to like mention that. Like that's fine, bro.
Yeah, no, like they know that all, like, now, like, because in Vince's era is like we're the only thing that exists. In H's era, like everything exists. Like that's like they mention New Japan. They with Motor City Machine Guns. Like they mention a lot of shit.
It's like
everything exists now.
Vince's era of WWE was like Spider-Man and Sony. And then now Triple H's era is Spider-Man everywhere. So now everybody's like, oh shit, we're all part of the same fucking world now.
Yeah,
it's cool. I'm okay with that. I like that in wrestling. I like bro, talk about it.
After that match, we get the second best promo. Well, honestly, I don't know which promo is better, but we get some more experience shit. Cody comes out, and before the second woe fully hits, Gunther comes out, which just again makes him the ultimate troll, man. Gunther's again, he's so fucking good, dude. So Gunther says, like, and this is word for word. So it's like, what are you fighting for exactly? Because you say you fighting all for these, what you bringing up your daughter last week was completely unnecessary. This ain't about your mixed daughter, nigga. That's word for word. This ain't about your mixed daughter. This is about the title. Like, see me? I fight for me. This ain't about these. I fight for me. This ain't about these people. So Gunther bars him up at first, and then Cody has an amazing rebuttal where it's like, you can't say it's not about them, because if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the Cody crybabies, if it wasn't for like me being emotional and my brother being emotional, Dusty Rhodes, he's like, if it wasn't for all that, I wouldn't be here. Like extreme, like super baby face. It gets the crowd into it. An amazing rebuttal. And
did he ask for like the Cena schedule? Like he wants to like to be like you want to be used. You want to
and that's what
something like that.
Gunther said is like, yeah, you want the Cena schedule. You want to be it's similar to what he said the previous week, where it's like if you're everybody's friend, then whose real friend are you? Yeah, like, and it was like, yeah, you want the Cena schedule. You like to do all these press conferences or whatever, and then like Cody rebuttals. It was like, I'm doing these press conferences because I have, it feels like my responsibility, yada yada. And then Gunther was like, see, the difference between you is I have the balls to say no. I get offered the same shit. I get offered to do press conferences, but guess what? I say no because I'm him.
Look, and then let me take this one. This is where this nigga is a fucking gangster, bro. This man says the reason why you don't say no, the reason why you don't put yourself over everybody else is if you stop being the servant of everyone else, your little story is over. And I was like,
and to follow it up, he's like, you ain't got the balls to say no. Fuck. And again, this is word for word. He's like, fuck a charity. Fuck doing media. I run this shit. I do this for me. Real graps, nigga. Real graps. Like, real wrestling.
Hey, yo, look, bro said like he said I'm the greatest pro wrestler in the company. I'm like, he not wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anybody in WWE better than Gunther.
I mean, it to me it's subjective. I would say Gunther, Roman, and Cody are almost equally tied.
In the ring. Put that motherfucker in the
because I'm already on record. Gunther, to me, it's Gunther because I feel like you could put him in the 70s, you could put him in the like time travel wise, put him in the 70s, put him in the 80s, put him in the 90s.
He not
with the right booking.
Anybody in WWE, bro, like nobody's fucking with Gunther.
He could literally fit in every era. You could throw him into the 40s and he would fit. All you need is a right.
I think I remember this conversation. We talked about it. It was Gunther and Bryan. They were the only two like transcends eras. Like it does not fucking matter.
Bryan to me perfected the babyface like underdog. I mean, Sammy's a really close second, but like Bryan to me he damn near perfected the underdog. Gotta come back up. Like think about his WrestleMania win fighting Batista or Nancy, Triple H. The shit with. I mean, even some of the shit in AEW. But yeah, anyway. Gunther is that guy.
1,000%.
And he's like, you want it? And then Cody's second rebuttal, which, again, this shit was... This show was... SmackDown was really good. I'm sorry, you guys. I really enjoyed SmackDown. Between the promo with H and Randy, this promo, and... some of the other shit, like this was just so, and then so Cody was like, "You want to know Guts? Guts is doing this. Guts is throwing hands, nigga." And then he just punches him. And then, you know what Guts is? Guts is these hands, nigga. These hands, nigga. And again, word for word, bar for bar.
Bar for bar.
Google it. He said it. Don't. But yeah, and then Ludwig comes out, and it looks like they're getting jumped. Then Randy comes out, and then we get another tease with like Randy. He holds the title for a second. He looks at it, hands it back to Cody. But again, like even though this match was announced literally like 3 weeks ago, they've done a good job of building it. Even though it's clearly a one-off, we know this title doesn't mean shit. We've already talked about it, you, me, and DT. Like we already talked shit. It's just bragging rights. Doesn't mean shit, but like they have done a good job building it. And every single segment, I keep changing my mind on who should win. I'm not going to ask you now because we're already going a little long, but next week we might pull through it again. After that, let's see, boom, we're almost done. So yeah, then we get a segment real quick where all three GMs. So that means Raw with Ava, Aldis, and Pierce. Essentially, they say, "Yo, we're gonna get a fatal 4-way for the women's tag match in Crown Jewel," which is Damage Control. Obviously, the women's champions Bianca and Jade, Lash and Jakari, and then we're going to get Chelsea and Piper. And for some of the people who don't know why Chelsea and Piper were added, it's because during the NXT match with Damage Control and Lash and Jakari, or Metaphor, I'll just say Metaphor, Piper and Chelsea interrupted that match and attacked both teams. So we're gonna get a fatal 4-way, and that way, instead of adding, I feel like this is their way in with not adding 2 women's matches. There's still time to add another women's match, but we're gonna get 2, 4, 6. We're gonna get eight women in a match, which I think is the first time in their Saudi show having that. So that's
all of them covered head to toe.
Yeah, they'll be covered. They'll be covered.
Looking like Michelin tires. Crazy.
Yeah. So then after that, we get the quote unquote main event, which is DIY versus Motor City, which is a match. It's on in the Indies world. It's a dream match. It might have happened before, but I think it's a dream match in the indie world that happened to come true. And it's a good match. It's honestly is a really good match. And the commentators, granted, because Motor City hasn't talked that much, and unless you're like super tapped in, you don't know who the hell they are. But the commentating has been doing a good job trying to put these guys over and let you know, like, they kind of changed tag team wrestling, which they did. Like that's no cap. Like if it wasn't for them, we probably would not have the Young Bucks at all. We probably wouldn't have a DIY or like the Usos the way that we had them, because the way that their particular synchronicity in ring style was kind of
bro. Yes. Yeah. My first note is that these niggas is good, and I don't like. I hate saying it all the time, but like when you see something, you're like, nah, bro, these motherfuckers is good. It doesn't make any sense. Like you said, the synchronization that they have, like the chemistry, the ring awareness, like the way to like feed off of the crowd, like it's dope. Like I saw people like picking on the fact that they were small, like they're like 5'9" or whatever. Same thing they did with Adam Cole this week too. Like, don't be talking about people. Like, why, bro? I don't care what the fuck you look like. If you can wrestle, you can fucking wrestle. These motherfuckers.
It's one of those things in sport where it was like, oh, Drew Brees, he was a small quarterback. Like if he never won that Super Bowl ring and / broke a couple of the touchdown records or whatever other records that he broke, then they'd still be shitting on him. But it's like since he did good shit, like it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, they're small wrestlers, like because
I'm cool
when it's fine. It's fine. It's like wrestling is, again, it's
not real. Respectfully, in the respectful sense, I know we run a podcast on wrestling. There's no like combine for wrestling, right? I'm not looking to pick up the biggest, most craziest physical specimen, because that's not what makes you good, right?
No.
It's a lot of other shit that makes you good. If you are big and you're good, and then okay, it works. You get. I was gonna say somebody's name, but I haven't said his name in a while, so I won't say his name. But cool. If you're physically gifted, it works. But if you are small and like that works too, man. Like I'm cool.
I feel like
I'm not picking on somebody because they ain't got no muscle.
To me, it's one of those things in sports where it's, again, like it's similar to like, oh, you can't have a point guard that's 5'10". Doesn't matter how good he is, but he's 5'10". That's too short. Like, again, similar to like QBs, like, and obviously Vince. I mean, and it's not just Vince, but like wrestling, quote unquote, had a look. Like you have to have a quote unquote look, and being like, for example, Kofi Kingston in the 90s, he would have never won that title based off his look. He's too skinny. Daniel Bryan would have never, like, if he didn't have the fans behind him, never would have fucking won. And even then,
you have like Shawn Michaels though, but like Shawn Michaels was like small, but Shawn Michaels was like charismatic as fuck. Yeah. Like,
and he's not
hard to say no to Shawn Michaels.
He's not small in the short sense though. Like he's tall. He's just thin.
You think so? I thought Shawn Michaels was like 5'10", 5'11". Let me.
Oh, because
I don't think Shawn Michaels was that big.
Oh, well, maybe I'm tripping, but Shawn was different though. So I mean,
Shawn was okay. Shawn Michaels was 6'1".
Okay, all right, yeah. So he's not like, because I'm 5'11", 5'10", or whatever. So it's like I'm average male height or whatever the fuck. Or no, average male height is 5'9", I think now. America, we're getting shorter, you guys. But yeah, shit has a look. And like when you see them, okay, so let's fast forward. Anyway, like it's a fire ass match. Motor City Machine Guns win. It's a good shit, right? Then Bloodline comes out, and again we see more of Solo's personality, where he's being. He's making me laugh. To me, he is funny, but I'm not going to say he's being funny. To me, he's being himself. to me, this is like when Roman finally became the tribal chief, where it's like you see him. It doesn't seem like he's playing a character. This seems like it seems like he's playing a character, but he's not like playing a character. Where it's like this is just a small extension of himself. Like when I act like the King of Gorgeous, like that's still me. It's just like me to a 10, but it's still me. It's just a little heightened. Where it's like this is Solo,
extension
like
of yourself.
Yeah, it's extension. It's just a more heightened extension of my like Solo. If you guys seen him in NXT, like he does have charisma. He is funny. Like all the Usos are fucking funny. And him doing this 1-to-1 trying to be the tribal chief shit, it just has not been working. Like you and I talked about it multiple times. There was certain weeks where he was acting like the dude from Malcolm in the Middle, and there's other weeks where it's like, oh, okay, I'm kind of seeing this mob boss, mob ties type shit. But like this version, again, is like it gives me Wesley Snipes Demolition Man. It gives me like Nicolas Cage Face Off, where it's like he's crazy, but he's entertaining. It's not it's not Joker crazy, but it's not
cognitive crazy.
Yeah, it's just
he's aware of his craziness.
He's what I would be if I was a villain. I'm a wild card. It's like I'm not gonna be the full Joker, but I'm gonna be like I'm gonna still do some unexpected shit, and I'm still be funny because to me I'm a funny person. But yeah, he comes out. He's like. And we hear Sabian talks first, and it's like, we'll do this shit anytime, any place, man. Like, we fought way too hard to get here. And then Solo's like, anytime, any place? All right. Well, let's do it right now. And then Aldis's response is really good because he's putting this new team over, because this new team has not talked that much. They both talked today, and then, like, unless you're seeing any of the backstage stuff, like, that they post, like, with, what is it called? Like SmackDown behind the scenes, whatever the fuck it's called. Like, unless you're watching all that stuff, you're not, and you're not super tapped in, like you didn't watch them on Impact or whatever. Like you don't know who these people are still. And
can I say a small part is that it also the promo wasn't all that great either. It was the first one. I didn't like the way that it came off because it came off like. I don't know. I had to see more of their talking ability. Yeah. I'll just say what they said. It was just like, you guys are the greatest here, but I can see why. Like, you got to have a flaw somewhere, and it seems like the promo side of it may be the flaw as of right now. I haven't seen enough to fully determine that, but it's a little lower on my tier.
It may be because I haven't seen I've seen Shelly because he was. I've seen him live because he was at Prestige, one of the Prestige shows I went, and he was like he did a couple stints in NXT, but yeah, no, I have not seen them do promos. That might be their shortcoming, and I don't know. I'm gonna give them a slight credit for this show only because they cut this promo after having a match with DIY, so it reminds me of Naomi, where it's like. She'll dance for 5 minutes and then cut a promo, and like you sound winded. And it's like it's not a bad promo. You just sound tired, and it's because you've been doing a choreographed routine this whole time.
True.
But yeah, and then Solo even does an Impact Easter egg. He's like, "You guys want to make an impact or something?" Like you can see, like again, he's like he has a character. He does have charisma. If we're not trying to make him some Roman clone, he can actually be interesting. And I hope they keep this. Because then it will actually make the Bloodline. I feel like it will make people care more about the Bloodline because it
makes them different.
It makes them different, and also, people don't care about no one cared about the Bloodline until they were either tied with Cody and until Fatu showed up. Like when Tama and Tonga came up, it was cool, but it's like this one dude, he's missing spots. He don't even know how to do a low blow, all this other stuff.
Oh man,
all this, it's like
Christ, I forgot about all that shit.
And then you have
that nigga low blowed him.
his first two appearances were quote unquote botches. He came out the ring all weird, like was like, bro, you almost missed your cue on some Adam Page shit. You literally about to miss your cue. And then then you have Solo talking like the nigga from Malcolm Middle, where he's breathing every sentence or every other word.
Fuck, I forgot about that. The low blow and he hits his nigga in the head. Like
no, he hit him in the
your own teammate in the head.
Well, yeah, that too. The almighty tank punch.
Because he missed the first one, and the second one he hits the motherfucker in the head. Yeah, that was great. Oh, I forgot about that.
But yeah, so
All right.
they all this again. He does a good promo. He's like, you guys worked way too hard. I know you guys. I'm not going to let you have this match because you just had a match. You're not at your best. And they're like, fuck it, bro. Like let's get this
You
going.
know who he is? We them ones.
Yeah, and
They're not, but
yeah. They start the match. It's a good match. Jimmy comes out in full shiesty black hoodie type shit. He interferes. Then he starts to get jumped by Solo and Fatu, and then Roman comes out, and then Roman and Jimmy essentially fight Solo and Fatu away from the ring. So then we get just a 2v2, and then another person comes out in a full shiesty and hoodie, and it's like, oh, who could that be? It's like, we know who that is. And we see a couple super kicks, and then Jey, spoiler, Jey, he super kicks Tama. He hits him Tama with a spear before the ref fully understands what's going on, or because the ref took a bump. Jey essentially picks the ref up, is like, yo, it's time, and then that sets up Motor City for their finisher, which I do not remember the name of at the moment.
Skull and Bones.
Skull, yeah,
the pirate theme.
Yes. Yep. Oh, pirate. It's Illuminati theme too. We got to talk about that. But yeah, we get new tag team champions, Motor City Machine Guns. They beat the Bloodline. And the last thing I'm gonna say about this is, if I'm Ray Phoenix, I'm going to the backstage AEW, and I'm fighting the first nigga I see.
You gotta fight the first nigga who leaked your shit. Go fight. Never mind. I was about to say
I'll fight Conan too. Everybody could get this work.
Yeah, look, you said it. You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
Specifically though, Jack Perry.
I'm fight that nigga, bro. Y'all niggas was on your way out. This motherfucker was fucking up your bag.
I'm gonna slap Jack Perry and I'm gonna slap Sammy. If I'm Phoenix, that's the first thing I'm gonna do it in front of Tony so that he knows, so that I can get fired, because I want his life to be. Because if the rumors are true, hypothetically, if the rumors are true, this was supposed to be the Lucha Bros.
Absolutely.
So if I'm Phoenix, I'm a little tight. I'm a little tight with everybody.
Nigga, stop talking, bro. Everybody talk too fucking much.
That too.
Like, damn, bro.
That's that new age shit. Like, everything don't need to be recorded, bro.
Just stop talking, bro. Y'all would have been up here. Okay, my takeaways from this real quick is that legit mono goosebumps seeing Jey and come back. That was real reaction to me. I was like, oh shit, I'm really the Usos are back. It's been a minute since we had the Usos together, right? That was really cool for me to see, just to feel that mana.
Well, for context, because I never got to that. So yeah, the Machine Guns win. No, it's my bad. Yeah, Jay's just in the ring by himself, and then Jimmy comes out, and then we get the hug. So just for context of what Leonard just said.
Context, the Usos are hugged it out, kind of like foreshadowing with the fucking shirts that Jimmy wore. So it was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen this way. But yeah, legit goosebumps. That was fucking crazy. So I'm definitely happy to see the Usos, because the Usos as a tag team are literally elite. Motor City Machine Guns are the champions after 3 wins or 3 matches, right? Is that too quick? First question. Second, what does that say about the other champions or the other people that were trying to be in there? Because it looks like, Profits were nowhere to be found in this episode of SmackDown, but they've been working their ass off to try to get those tag belts. DIY could seemingly be on a breakup, because Ciampa was a little pissed off post-match here. We don't know what the fuck happened to the build between Corbin and Apollo. So
they were tagged. Apollo was beefing with Vindy, whatever.
Yeah, but they dropped they were a tag team at one point. They were put together to be in tag matches.
Yeah.
So were they not good enough? Because the conversation we had prior to this, or a couple times, is that it's the build, the stories, the build. There has to be a reason for them to have it, and I get it, because most of the Machine Guns are great. They're going to be ones that are able to build other fucking teams. I respect that, but what happens to that defeats the whole purpose of WWE's whole philosophy. I'm all for a curveball, right? I enjoy that, but I want to ask you, because we've talked about this, where we can't just create opportunities out of nothing. So how does this differentiate from, creating the moment for, like we talked about with the Profits and whatnot? Because at that time, that conversation was creating the black talent, whatever. But fuck all that. How does this differentiate? What makes this acceptable compared to the opposite?
To me, okay, what makes this acceptable is that, again, if you're online, so let's just talk to the people that are tapped in, such as you and me. Like, even though, again, I never seen much of Motor City, etc., but like, we know that they're a credible tag team that has been grinding for like a decade or longer, and it's similar to what we were talking about last week, where it's like, we need to get this shit off of the Judgment Day, and it's the same argument to where it's like, we got to get this off of the Bloodline, and they decided to choose a new team to do that, to build a new team. And it's very similar to your previous points, where it's like, sometimes the person makes the title or the title makes the person, type of thing. So I feel like their logic was like, we got a new hot team, we want to make them credible. How do we make them credible? Let's have them beat the team that no one else can beat, so that we can help revitalize this tag team division, because this tag team division has been floundering for a while. So I'm okay with it. Like, the fact that it's a new team, to me, it makes it okay. Like, for example, like, if Pretty Deadly just did this, I'm like, well, that's kind of out of nowhere. Like, Pretty Deadly's been losing this last like 5 months, so them just winning makes zero sense in comparison. So that's why I'm okay. Like, and that's why I was like okay with like the idea of like War Raiders winning. Granted, like, you countered me with like LWO, I'm like, oh, actually, I fucks with that. So that's why I'm okay with it. And again, like, if the rumors were true, this would have been the Lucha Bros. The plan, assuming they had a long term plan, the plan was to put over a new team that they recently just signed or whatever the hell. So it seems like that was the trajectory, and they stuck with it. They just had to pivot a little bit, because the team that they initially were planning to get did not get. Um, I don't see anything wrong with this, because I didn't want the Bloodline to have the titles, and Motor City can still put over these other teams. They're still like, I feel like this is them again, like, transitioning to be like, yo, we want to care about this division, similar to what the women's tag team has been doing. Like, when we last ever talked about the women's tag team division, where it's like, man, they got to build this shit up. And the last couple months, like, it's been a little more credible. It's only like, there's only still been like 3 to 4 teams like that have been paid attention to, but the division as a whole has been a little more credible. And I feel like this is them trying to make the men's tag team a little more credible. And it's one of those, it's similar to like, oh, Jey couldn't lose too many title matches, where it's like, Street Profits lost a lot of title matches. DIY, they lost the title after a month, and they lost 2 other matches trying to get the titles back. Let's put it on a new team to revitalize it, put like, essentially take an adrenaline shot. Let's amp this shit up, type of thing. That's how I foresaw it. So I don't have any problems with it at this moment.
Okay. It's just, I don't know. It's just, when I look at Profits and DIY, they've worked their asses off, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and they got fucked over just based off the Bloodline vortex. The Bloodline never needed to have the tag belts,
No.
right? Like, I do agree that we definitely should have got them off of them, but it's just like, yo, like, the opportunities for them are dwindling, because you do have a new team coming in, right? We do have Motor City Machine Guns, right? We are talking about Lucha Bros, which then in WWE just puts you down a pecking order, right? Somebody's going to get eliminated off the fucking ladder. That's just how this shit works. And to piggyback off of like what we talked about earlier with like title versus usage rate, Profits are being used. They're used all the time, right? So they don't have an issue with usage. It's just more so like, we want the belts, bro. We haven't been champion in 3 years. We're trying to get the belts back.
Yeah, they need to they need to win. They've been losing a lot.
They've been losing for a minute. But now with the Motor City Machine Guns as the premier babyface, I would assume, I think that's a correct assumption, is that they're babyfaces.
Yeah.
I don't see them fighting Profits. Profits are babyfaces, right? I see Motor City Machine Guns probably doing like Legato, you know, they'll probably fight them. They may run Bloodline back if they want to, because it is a vortex. But like, where does that put Profits in DIY? DIY, like I said, seemingly breakup. We don't know yet, but they're two babyface tag teams as well.
One of them,
you know, I'm like,
yeah,
somebody's not going to be there, bro.
One of them is probably going to turn heel, and one of them will probably break up.
And we know that Profits can't be heels. They've tried it, and it just does not work for them.
No.
So like that's where everything gets convoluted. That's where I'm like, bro, like I don't know. I don't want to see the Profits in a weird fucking blender of them trying to figure out who they are, and like the thought of like, we're not worthy. No, you guys are definitely fucking worthy. It's just that now we don't know, unless they end up shifting to fucking Raw, and that could happen in 2 months, 3 months now, right? You can have like, oh hey, Profits are on Raw, and now you got Street Profits as the Raw Tag Team Champions. Like, and I'm okay with that as well. It's just right now they're in a very weird limbo, I would say.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's kind of like that's one of the downsides to wrestling, to where it's like, you know, there was moments where The Rock wasn't tied to the title, but he's like still had to do shit. Like there's going to be
Rock.
Yeah, I guess my point is like there's going to be moments where you're not going to win. You have to kind of job to put over other people, but obviously they're still over. They're still liked. They're still trusted. They're kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Limbo.
And have you job for like 3 years too, because like we're talking about not losing streak, because they're not on a losing streak, but they've just encountered a good chunk of losses over 3 years. Like,
no, they're on some Miz type shit to where it's like they can lose, it doesn't affect their credibility. Like I don't like they could win the title tomorrow, and I'm not gonna like second guess it as a compared to where we were talking about with AEW, where it's like, is Daniel Garcia, he's the guy who's just humping like it. Like if they won tomorrow, it wouldn't be questionable, but it's like, yeah, they have been losing for a while. It's just like, yeah, I don't know, man.
It's interesting. I just I thought about it when I saw it. Like I understand why Motor City Machine Guns has it. Yeah. Like they are credible, bro. Like,
and I don't think they'll keep it for a long time. I mean, based on like honestly, there's a chance LA Knight might lose. Like the only title,
that was gonna be my next question. Like I forgot about that. I didn't ask that question.
Every title has changed hands at least twice to 3 times, except for the main world titles.
The main titles, yeah.
The main title. Well, the one on Raw has changed because Drew won, then Damian, and then eventually Gunther. But Cody hasn't changed, and Cody's probably not going to change for a while. But we've had multiple women's tag teams. We've had 3 to 4 different. We have 3 Intercontinentals, and then we've had like 3 U.S. titles. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a long reign. It could be just to make them credible because they're still new. Like there's still a lot of fans who don't know who they are, and they're trying to get them over, which is why they have pyro and all this other shit. So, you know, they're trying to make them get over.
And they're good. This would be different if they were dog shit, but these motherfuckers are good. Like I see it. Like it's like, damn, it just sucks to see the people that you have been invested in for a while. Like, damn, DIY only has a 30-day. Profits ain't get it. Like then we had great fucking matches, great ladder matches with them and everything. This question I'm gonna ask you, I don't need the answer now because it leads into something in the future.
Okay.
Right. The Crown Jewel episode, which should be next week. Mm-hmm. Melo's on that card in that triple threat. Right. We've been talking about we need a black man wrestler to win and to get that dub. Right. That we've been not talking about it like we want it, but it's been in the air. It's been a topic of conversation in the past couple episodes. Do we think that this is Melo's time to get it? And is it performative if he does get it? The back half you can answer when we get there. This first question is like, is it time that Melo beats LA Knight? And I'll give you my answer after I figure out what you said.
As of right now, my answer might change. I think Andrade should win the match.
Okay. I still think LA Knight should hold it. I think LA Knight is still just crazy fucking pop. I think we're gonna get a fucking great match.
And that's
but I definitely I like LA Knight with it.
I support that also in the sense where it's like he's to me, like what I was saying with Mark earlier, like he's like the top mid card, and I don't see like obviously he's not going to go beat Cody anytime soon, so he should kind of probably stay in the position that he's in. So I wouldn't be like if he retained, that's fine too. If I had to choose someone else to win, I think Andrade should get the first run with it, just because. Well, I don't need.
Did he had U.S. right? Andrade was U.S. champion before he left, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he during the early pandemic he was U.S. until like before Bobby got it. Like he was U.S. because him and Ray had like multiple bangers in like early Thunderdome pandemic shit.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, people, that was the show. Like we said, next week's episode should be the Crown Jewel episode.
Yeah.
Crown Jewel is next week. And we're definitely looking forward to that. The match card looks great. It looks phenomenal. Actually, next Friday SmackDown looks great too. There's a really dope lineup that they got on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's pre-taped, so again, avoid spoilers if you can. I saw the quote unquote ending for it, and it is what it is. But
fuck, damn. With that being said, we're gonna get out of here. Once again, thank you to all the listeners. Thank you to all the followers. Shout out to everybody from Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, like YouTube. Definitely the ones on YouTube. We appreciate it. TikTok with the TikTok views. Y'all run them bitches up too. Thank y'all. We appreciate it. But we're gonna get out of here. It's been real. I will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Too sweet.